With more, here's Glenn Suter and Gord Miller.
Darren, when you're looking for the Memphis Mad Dogs and the Edmonton Eskimos, look under the D for defense. It's been the major story for these two teams all season long. And so it should come as no surprise that when it came time for these teams to have their most valuable players announced, both come from the defensive side of the ball, Glenn.
No surprise at all. With the Edmonton Eskimos, Willie Pless has been the outstanding defensive player in the CFL for 2 out of the last 3 years. And again, this season leads the league in tackles when you throw in that he has 4 fumble recoveries and 4 sacks. Another outstanding season. With Tim Cofield, he's just 3 sacks away from James Parker's record for sacks in a single season. Another great year for Cofield.
Now, Memphis's defense kind of let it down in Edmonton a couple of weeks ago. The Mad Dogs allowed the Eskimos to score 17 points in the 4th quarter, but it should be tough for Edmonton to score tonight. Tight confines here at the Liberty Bowl, and the Eskimos are without Eric Blount and Shalon Baker, 2 of their key offensive weapons. Darren?
Thanks very much, guys. On now to our game story. There are some great matchups tonight. Damon Allen versus the Eskimos defense. He's got to find the end zone. Allen has only thrown 11 touchdown passes this year. The Mad Dogs D relentless. Tim Cofield leads the way. Willie Pless leads the Eskimos. Kerwin Bell, he's a big reason why the Edmonton Eskimos have won 5 in a row. Memphis has got to pressure him and probably will. Special teams, they're an integral part of any game. You've got the Giz and Collins going for Edmonton. Time now for the opening kickoff. Let's go to Gordon Glenn at Liberty Bowl.
Thanks very much, Darren. Set for the final home game of the season, and this is the final week of the season for the Memphis Mad Dogs. Ron Lancaster. Now, the Edmonton Eskimos, his team has already clinched 2nd place. He's 5 games over 500 as a CFL head coach. And there's Pepper Rogers, the man who directs the Memphis Mad Dogs attack, trying to get them into the playoffs in their first Canadian Football League season. The Edmonton Eskimos won the toss and will take the football to begin the game. So Mick Meister will kick it off to Jerry Collins, number 30 on the left. And the Gizmo, Henry Williams, who is still without a touchdown this season. This is a homecoming for Gizmo. He's from Memphis and played for the Showboats here with the USFL. Mick Meistrom's opening kickoff is taken by Jerry Collins back at the 15-yard line, and Collins thrown down at the 30. And so the Edmonton Eskimos will begin from about the 30. Anthony Jordan down to make the stop. The starter for the Edmonton Eskimos is Chris Vargas, who takes over instead of Kerwin Bell, who's had some soreness in his knee. Vargas, a 2nd-year man out of Nevada Reno. The starting lineup is brought to you by Mr. Sub. Fresh thinking is what we are. Rod Conop, Edmonton's nominee for the Lineman of the Year, leads the offensive line, which has 45 years CFL experience. With Shalon Baker out and Eric Blount, Jerry Collins, and Chris George take their place. 1st and 10, mark it from the 29-yard line. The give goes to the fullback, Michael Souls, who pulls his way ahead for a couple of yards. Souls likely to get more work tonight as Jerry Collins gets worked into the Edmonton lineup, a free agent signing of a couple of weeks ago. Collins a decent back, at a 5.2-yard rushing average with Ottawa last year. 2nd down, Vargas back to throw quickly, looking for George, but the play was broken up. Don Smith was there on the coverage, and this Memphis defense, which leads the league in fewest points allowed, sends the Eskimos out 2-0.
Well, I talked to Don Lancaster before the game. He said his offensive philosophy for this game is to throw the ball quickly with guys like Rodney Harding and, of course, Tim Cofield putting the rush on. He's got to get rid of that football.
Glenn Harper is back to punt. Jordan is back deep to receive with Adrian Smith. And Jordan takes it out across the 50 to about the 52, and Michael Souls, who had that first carry, came down to make the stop. The Memphis offense led by 32-year-old Damon Allen in his 11th CFL season, enjoying a career-high 58.4% completion percentage. And the offensive line is a big one. A couple of 300-pounders in Todd Jones and Chuck Bradley are there. Joining Allen in the offense, Gary Morris, Anthony Jordan, Sean Collins, Joe Horn, their nominee for Rookie of the Year. Al Shipman is the starting tailback along with Gary Anderson. And the give goes to Al Shipman, and right away he breaks through the Edmonton defense across midfield and all the way down to the Edmonton 43-yard line. First play of the game for the Mad Dogs, and Memphis gets 14 yards. The Edmonton defense, which with Memphis is 1-2 in most categories, with few changes. Darian Hagan is out. Morris Lawler, number 25, takes his spot. And Robert Holland, number 17, plays that weak side linebacker in place of Singor Mobley. Again, the carry goes to Al Shipman. This time, Robert Holland and Larry Ruck come up to make the stop, a gain of 3.
Gordon, you alluded to the size of the offensive line for this Memphis Mad Dog football team. Christopher Perez at 280 and Todd Jones at 300 over that left side are opening huge holes early in this football game.
Mentioned that Edmonton's offensive line has 45 years of CFL experience. The offensive line for Memphis, 6.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 rookies on that offensive line.
On second down, Allen back quickly, sets up the receiver screen to Anthony Jordan. And the Eskimos do a pretty good job defending that. Willie Pless got up there along with Trent Brown. It's a pickup of 4, but it will leave Memphis short of a first down.
Of course, Willie Pless, one of those guys that's been nominated in 2 categories: outstanding player, outstanding defensive player for this year, and well deserving. Another super year for Willie Pless.
So Mick Mystrom and the field goal unit come on for the Memphis Mad Dogs. This has been a familiar story for the Mad Dogs this year, particularly in this stadium. Damon Allen said yesterday it's a field goal kicker stadium. Of course, you may have noticed tonight and seen before, there's AstroTurf lining the outer edges of the playing surface, so it's almost like a smaller field. It's been tough to score touchdowns in this stadium. This attempt comes from the 43-yard line. Mystrom misses it to the left, and Memphis will get on the board first, but only 1 for the Mad Dogs. Mystrom with the miss, the Mad Dogs with a point, just underway at the Liberty Bowl.
Pushing count to 3.
Timeout is called right now. Shaq's got to do something big to get back in this game.
Commercial.
Shaq is leaving the court. What do you mean?
He's over there. He's on Lucy.
What?
I didn't know Shaq could ride a horse.
Hiya, pal. Well, the timeout is over. I wonder if he's going to get back. Hey, wait a minute. Shaq's back. He's got it. How about that?
He says there's nothing good on TV.
Imagine an automobile where every component is engineered to such precise tolerances, it feels as if it were formed from a single piece of steel. Introducing the all-new Mercury Sable. The 1996 Mercury Sable, now available in sedan or wagon for the same price. Imagine that.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you by Pepsi. Nothing else is a Pepsi. And by Bell, Advantage long-distance services from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Last time they met was a couple of weeks ago. The Edmonton Eskimos exploded in the 4th quarter to win at 34-17, but Tim Cofield tied a CFL record with 5 quarterback sacks. They all came in the first half.
And let's take a look and see how that hold goes down. Perfect. See the laces spun away and a little bit of lean towards the holder Gardier, and that was the perfect spot. Kick just went wide.
So the Eskimos will take over at the spot of the last scrimmage at the 36-yard line. Edmonton was 2-0 on its first offensive possession. Fake to Collins, Vargas up to throw and completes it to Jim Sandusky, who makes the catch up at the 50-yard line, hit by Greg Battle on the play. Sandusky has made a catch in every Edmonton Eskimo game this year, the only receiver to do so for Edmonton. And here's the Mad Dogs defense, led by some familiar names. Cofield and Harding, all Canadians last year, combined for 33 sacks, and the defensive backfield includes former Eskimos Damian Lyons and Ed Barry. First down on the game by Sandusky, and this time they try the other side, and the pass is complete to the former Memphis Mad Dog, Eddie Brown, who makes his first catch and a gain of 9. Eddie did not leave Memphis on the best of terms and was anxiously looking forward to his first game back here.
Of course, part of the trade, they saw Lucius Floyd come to Memphis and Eddie Brown back to Edmonton.
Brown told me before the game he never should have left Edmonton.
That's
He
right.
a tough couple of months here with the Mad Dogs and an offensive scheme that is fairly conservative.
Well, Gord, earlier in the year, Memphis was running with 2 tight ends, and that's definitely not something where Eddie Brown's going to catch a lot of passes. In fact, when those tight ends were on the field, Eddie Brown wasn't.
First down for the Eskimos at the Memphis 48-yard line. Here's Jerry Collins dancing his way inside. Greg Battle limited his progress to a couple. And Collins gets down to the Memphis 43-yard line. Jerry Collins, small guy, 5'7", 190, but in Ottawa, he had a lot of success with the Rough Riders.
Yeah, he sure did. Played 6 games for Ottawa this season. Had just shy of 500 all-purpose yards. Good, strong runner, low to the ground, low center of gravity, and hard to tackle.
Good example of what having a good game will do for you. He had 128 yards rushing against Edmonton, so perhaps that's why the Eskimos liked him so much. Give goes over the middle, back to the fullback, Michael Souls, and Souls takes some abuse down there. Don Odegaard, the safety, came up to help make the stop. The carry on second down appeared to be well short of an Edmonton first down. In fact, they'll mark it about a yard and a half short, and it looks like Ron Lancaster is going to bring the big fellas in.
He sure is. He's gambling this early in the football game. Brought in this big team, the Elephants we used to call them, and
of course, when you've got second place wrapped up, Glenn, you can gamble all you want.
Sure you can. Rest your guys, take some gambles, try some things out, some different plays.
Third and a couple for Edmonton. 3 in the backfield. The give goes to Willie Pless, and Pless, the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, is tackled by another, Greg Battle, but there are flags down on the play. The referee tonight is Dave Ewell, who indicates offside against Memphis. Willie Pless is no stranger to the football this year. That's his 4th carry of the year. He also has 3 catches.
Offside. Memphis number 53. 5 yards, first down.
Jeff Sawyer, second-year man from Memphis, was called offside, so it'll give the Edmonton Eskimos a first down at the Mad Dogs 34.
That's right. I didn't mention in the opening that Willie Pless is also an offensive threat.
That's right. He'll go back to the sidelines now after that grueling one play and see the offense continue this impressive drive. Quick drop for Vargas. Pass was tipped at the line, and Eddie Brown was drilled by Don Smith. Smith got up there and looked to be continuing a feud that might have started back in practice.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos going with the quick passing game. They know that no one can block Tim Cofield and Rodney Harding all game, so they're going to try and get rid of it quickly. And you see Vargas throwing that ball out into the flat, just not quite getting what he wanted on the football.
On second down, Vargas rolls out lots of time and slings it for the end zone. It is intercepted. The pass was intended for Chris George, but it is intercepted by Don Smith, his 5th of the year. And this Memphis defense jumps up and bites again.
Well, initially it looked like George had Don Smith beat. He was in behind him by a couple yards, but Vargas put so much air on the football that it allowed Don Smith to recover, catch that ball at the high point. That's what they tell defensive backs. And see Vargas, as he was going to get hit by Greg Battle and Tim Cofield, put a little too much air on that football. Don Smith comes up with the pick.
With the interception in the end zone, Memphis scrimmages 1st and 10 on its own 25-yard line. Allen, quick drop. Near side he goes to Jordan, who gets away from the first man, now wrapped up by Larry Ruck, who gets out to the 40-yard line.
Left side.
Former All-East All-Star, 1993 with Winnipeg, signed with the Bombers in 92, and has 12 knockdowns with this team this season. And for a defensive back, your coaches will always tell you knockdowns are just as good as interceptions. Get the hand on the ball and break up that pass.
Gain of 14 on that last play for Anthony Jordan. And Memphis with a first down, just shy of the Mad Dog 40. Allen up to throw again, this time to the other side he goes. And Joe Horn gets away from the first man, still going. Horn is finally pushed out of bounds in Edmonton territory at the Eskimo 47-yard line. Joe Horn with a 24-yard pickup. He's over 1,300 yards receiving through 17 weeks of the season.
Yeah, their outstanding rookie nominee, and his Damon Allen's favorite target throughout the year. You see him break the tackle, some sloppy tackling early by Edmonton. He avoids Trent Brown and heads down that sideline.
Joe Horn ranked 5th in the league in receiving coming into this football game.
You know, it's an interesting story. He comes on to a free agent camp and really impressed the coaching staff. That's how he made the football team. And then he goes out in his first game against Calgary, has 131 yards and 1 touchdown. The coaching staff says, yeah, he's a keeper.
Yeah, we'll hang on to this one. What do you say? 1st and 10, Memphis from the Edmonton 47. Allen again to throw on first down. Knocked down by Leroy Blue at the line of scrimmage. Blue, the 7th-year man out of Bishops. And that's the first incompletion of the game for Damon Allen.
Blue told me before the game, he says, you know what? I haven't felt healthier heading into the playoffs, and then we both scrambled to knock on wood so we wouldn't jinx him.
Well, Blue has been plagued by injuries, particularly one called pubitis, an inflammation of the joint where the hip socket meets your leg, and they used to kill him in the cold weather. Says he's 100% now, though. Now Allen from the shotgun on 2nd down. Lots of time, but he one-hops the pass out there, and the closest man to it looked to be Melvin Hunter. That falls incomplete, and again, the offense stalls in Edmonton territory.
Well, that may have initially looked like Damon Allen just didn't have the arm strength to throw that one into the curl, but I think he just sort of psychologically saw that had he thrown that ball on the spot, it was intercepted, so he just threw that one in the dirt and one-hopped it.
Rather than try a field goal of 53 yards, which would be Mystrom's longest of the year, Pete Gardier is in to punt, and the gizmo, Henry Williams, is the lone man back. And Edmonton with 11 men up on Gardier, who was a quarterback in college and has been successful on fakes before. This time he'll kick it away. Good low kick, returnable though for Williams from the end zone, and he'll bring it out. And the gizmo gets out to the 10-yard line before he is stopped on the play. A return of 11 yards. The stop is made by Danton Bardo. Poor field position for the Eskimos when we come back.
When Subway asked us, Bucky and Vinny, to review their authentic steak and cheese sandwich, we went to the steak and cheese capital of the world, Philadelphia.
Hey, this is where they filmed my favorite movie.
How about a great steak and cheese? Hey, champ, steak and cheese, please.
This is very good, this is. Like it, huh?
This is the real McCoy. Tender seasoned steak with melted processed cheese all on fresh baked bread.
We have a winner.
Subway, what a sandwich.
Imagine hearing the call of the road, not the road itself. Imagine the world at your fingertips. Imagine an automobile so precisely engineered, it feels as if it were formed from a single piece of steel. Imagine a choice of sedan or wagon for the same price. Introducing the all-new 1996 Mercury Sable. Could you imagine anything better?
Imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Well, 5 sacks isn't a bad year for some defensive players. How about 5 sacks in 1/2? That's what Tim Cofield did against the Edmonton Eskimos in October in the meeting there. Poor Kerwin Bell got to see more of Tim Cofield than Mrs. Cofield does most nights. Cofield simply blew around the Edmonton Eskimo offensive line. 5 in the first half, but the Eskimos must have seen something on the film at halftime, because in the second half he didn't have one. But Cofield tied a CFL record with 5 in 1/2. That record of 5 is the single game record. There is no record for most sacks in a half. And that's why Cofield is a heavy favorite to be named the CFL's Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, you talk about defensive linemen. If you can't make that outstanding nominee with 24 sacks, you never will. I mean, he's had one of those unbelievable once-in-a-lifetime seasons.
Lined up at the bottom of your screen. Now the draw play to Jerry Collins. Collins tries to get a little breathing room for the Eskimos. Gets out across the 16-yard line. And the stop is made by Darryl Ford, the former Toronto Argonaut, All-Canadian twice, before trying his luck in the NFL.
You see Tim Cofield, he not only has to concentrate on that pass rush, but on those draw plays, has to work upfield and then come back underneath the block, get involved in the tackle.
Gain was 7. It is 2nd and 3 for the Eskimos. Vargas up over the middle for Souls. Souls gets out to about the 23-yard line, which should be enough for an Edmonton Eskimo first down. Souls divides his time equally pretty much between catching and running with the football. He had 51 carries coming into this game, 48 receptions. He's got a career-high 8 touchdowns on the season.
He's the guy who's going to get the rock on that short yardage situation as well.
They fake the draw to Collins. Vargas under pressure. It's a screen pass. And now Collins gets out to the 25-yard line. Great job by the Memphis pursuit. Greg Battle got there again. And Greg Battle came up to make the stop. Battle was questionable for the game tonight with an injured thigh, but he comes up with a stop here.
See, Rodney Harding is going to be set free because of the screen. He gets the little push late there by Jeff Sawyer, and then, I don't know, I give him a 9.5.
That's pretty good. Gain him a couple on that one. Vargas goes out to the wide side. Look out. Completes it to Nick Mazzoli, but that was almost 6 the other way for Damian Lyons, who was just sitting on that one. As it is, it's a gain of 12 for Nick Mazzoli and a first down for Edmonton.
Well, Damian Lyons was a heartbeat away from 6 points for Memphis. He threw that wide field screen. You see, Mazzoli's going to just sit down in the flat. That's that short zone to the outside of the field. He's the last resort receiver for Chris Vargas, and Damian Lyons a step away from 7 points for his team.
On first down, they go back to the draw play to Michael Souls, and Souls picks up a couple as he gets out to the 40-yard line. Mentioned it before, but Michael Souls first burst onto the national scene as a MVP for McGill in the Vanier Cup. 1987, had an outstanding game, and University football returns to TSN this weekend on Saturday. Calgary at Saskatchewan. Rod Smith and Jamie Bowen will have all the action in the 95 season. Speaking of college football, that man, Pepper Rogers, was a coach of the year at UCLA. Vargas gets the throw, it hangs up, almost caught somehow by Chris George, but almost intercepted by a couple of Mad Dogs, too.
Well, I can't believe that one made it through, because there was 3 Mad Dog defensive backs right there. Don Smith, Ed Berry, all poised to intercept that football, and somehow it has eyes. You see Don Smith going up for the ball. Somehow it gets through there.
Adrian Smith and Anthony Jordan are back to receive the punt from Glenn Harper. Here comes the rush, and they almost got it. Harper gets the kick away, flags are down, and very quickly, so is Adrian Smith. The flag came down before the kick, which would indicate too many men or illegal substitution. There are 2 different sets of flags down on the play. 3:55 to play here in the opening quarter. Memphis leads Edmonton 1-0 in what could be another low-scoring game at the Liberty Bowl.
See Captain Larry Ruck in there listening to the officials, trying to help them out with their decision on this penalty.
No yards against Edmonton, too many men against the Mad Dogs. Now what happens here? You were a captain. What happens here?
Look like you're trying to. You look to the sideline to the head coach and you say, "What do I do?" And there's the head coach that's going to try and make the decision.
I'm not sure he'll have a choice here. Ron Lancaster with a headset on. Haven't seen that much this year. Ron doesn't usually wear the headset. He's using Joe Pow on the sideline. You see Ron talking to Pete Laverado.
Interesting story about Pete Laverado. You know, he went to Utah State University, but he almost went to Washington State. His family said that don't go to a school that you haven't heard. A coach called him from Washington State.
Too many men. Memphis. No yards. Edmonton 19. Balance the penalties at line of scrimmage. 3rd down, repeat it.
So we'll do it over again. So finish the story?
Yeah, so the coach calls from Washington State and says, Pete, would you like to come to Washington? And Pete says, I don't know where that school is. So he ends up going to Utah. That's a true story. He told me that. He said, I don't know where Washington is.
Oh, man. And how'd you end up at Simon Fraser? You'd never heard of UBC?
No, at that time it was the football factory of Canada for the CFL.
And it cranked out another great one in you. So Harper will do it again, and again just gets it away. Not nearly as good a kick. Flags are down again. Here comes Adrian Smith across midfield and down to the 42-yard line. No yards will be the call against the Edmonton Eskimos. A 20-yard return by Smith, and the Mad Dogs will have great field position when we come back.
Tonight's event is brought to you in part by Trojan Condoms.
When you're playing on the edge, there's only one thing to do. Go all the way. Enter Mr. Sub's Extreme Stakes to win the most radical ride of your life. A trip for two to the 96 Extreme Games, or one of 50 weekly prizes. Burton snowboards, Ray-Ban shades, and sportswear from Plain and Simple. Your ticket to ride is your Mr. Sub sandwich bag. So get interactive. Call in to enter and watch TSN Extreme every week to instant win one of 6 great sports packages per show. Enter the Mr. Sub Extreme Stakes. It's a whole new way to play on the edge.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by 3M Canada, imagining the unthinkable and developing the unknown. That's 3M Innovation at Work.
1-0 is the score here in the first quarter. In low-scoring games, nothing new for the fans here in Memphis. Look at the difference home and away. The Mad Dogs scoring an average of 15.7 points at home, a touchdown better away, and they're allowing nearly a touchdown fewer. The 3 lowest scoring games played in the Canadian Football League this year have all been played in Memphis, and most players say this is the reason. The short end zones here in Memphis, and you see the AstroTurf lining the outside of the field here. David Archer said that when he was here a couple weeks ago with San Antonio, they basically threw out 60% of their playbook when they got inside the 20. Here it's 1st and 10 for the Mad Dogs from the Edmonton 45. Draw play, this is Al Shipman, and Shipman finally brought down by Willie Pless, but not before he gets down to the 31-yard line. A pickup of 14 yards and a Memphis first down.
Larry Ruck moves to the middle linebacker position, and look at the block right there by Bruce Perkins, that fullback leading up on Larry Ruck, and boy, he just took one of the best linebackers in the game right out of the play.
Memphis 4th in the league in rushing yards. And the Mad Dogs have a penchant for keeping the ball on the ground, and they do again. The toss goes to Shipman, and this time he bounces off the tackle of Ruck and slides down to about the 22-yard line. Morris Lawler and Trent Brown got up to make the stop. And it'll be close to another first down after a pickup of 9.
Well, it's part of the responsibility of the defensive line to make sure that you keep the blocks off your middle linebacker. And right now, Larry Ruck is having to take on those blocks downfield, and he's having a lot of trouble getting involved and stopping that run.
Great situation now for the Memphis offense with 2nd and short. All kinds of options for Damon Allen here. Gives to the fullback Perkins, and Perkins gets down to the 20. Willie Pless again with the stop. It'll be a Mad Dogs first down.
Well, you know, with this Memphis running attack and Gary Anderson and Al Shipman, the tailbacks, actually it's Perkins who has the most carries for the team with 75. When they went to that double tight end offense for the first half of the football season, Perkins was the guy carrying the mail the majority of the plays.
A first down for the Mad Dogs just outside the 20-yard line. Under 2 minutes to play now in the first quarter. It's a reverse, a fake reverse, and now Allen outside. Throwing to the corner of the end zone, no one there. Edmonton's Gary Wilkerson was the closest man, so they faked the draw, faked the reverse, and then Allen threw it. There was nobody there.
Well, I'm amazed that the Edmonton Eskimos aren't upset about intentionally grounding the football. I mean, Damon Allen took off to the outside and threw it into the corner of the end zone. You see the play action fake to Shipman. Then he fakes the reverse coming around the other way and then just throws it away.
And you see Damon Allen pointing to himself saying, my mistake. 2nd down from the 20. Here comes the blitz. Allen tries the quarterback draw, but not much doing. Benny Goods grabbed him, and Willie Pless finished him off. And so Allen will come up short, and we will see the field goal unit again. Nick Meistrom's had a good year for the Mad Dogs. 33 of 43 coming into this attempt. All the other field goal kickers for Memphis, and there were 3 of them, were a combined 8 for 20.
Yeah, and the big stat on Nick Meistrom as well is what he's done inside the 40-yard line. Close to 90% inside the 40.
From the 24. Meistrom, who missed his first, puts it up and good. 4-0. The Mad Dogs lead the Eskimos with 1:02 to play in the opening quarter. Nick Meistrom comes up with a field goal. 4-0, and Memphis fans are still wondering when they're going to see all this high scoring.
Well, you know, that they talk about that here in Memphis, but this field is definitely a problem. We talked about the end zone only being 5 yards deep. You know, as a defensive back, when you get down in that red zone and you know you have 5-yard deep end zones, you can really tighten up your coverage, play hard inside. There's a look at it right there, and you see the left side. It's 5 yards from that goal line to the back of the end zone, so you can play hard inside and tighter. And
all season long, we've been keeping track of this, and the U.S. leads Canada 31-19, and the Americans have won 9 of the last 10. The only win by a Canadian-based team was the Eskimos over Memphis. Yes, Glenn? Yes, Glenn?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a misleading stat when you have teams like Toronto, Ottawa, and Winnipeg that are really struggling in the year. I mean,
I would point out that BC, Calgary, and Edmonton have a pretty good record against the rest of the league as well. So I'll make that point for you.
Thank you. Exactly.
You're welcome. Nystrom to kick it off as Jerry Collins and Henry Williams are back to take it. Gizmo from the 14. Still looking to break one this year. Trying to get outside, and he is caught. Thrown down by Gary Morris, but a decent return for the Gizmo, who is still without a touchdown on this season, and he's never gone a season without a touchdown. Played for the Memphis Showboats here. Pepper Rogers was his head coach, and if you were with us earlier on Sports Desk, we were interviewing Pepper, and the Gizmo came screaming through. The Gizmo has 3 touchdowns in the last 2 years. In the 2 years previous to that, he had 19. 19 touchdowns in 92 and 93, and then just 3 in 94 and 95. You saw Alien, the dog that retrieves the kicking tee here. Eskimos set up the receiver screen for Eddie Brown, and Brown gets on that AstroTurf and gets chased out of bounds at the 42-yard line, a pickup of 5.
That's the other complaint a lot of the players have for that AstroTurf, and Eddie Brown, you just saw, ran out of bounds. Really couldn't make a cut, because what happens is players have to wear grass cleats, like screw-in cleats. When you get on that AstroTurf with those, it's like wearing skates. You just slide right out. The only alternative you have is to go straight out of bounds. You can't make a cut.
Second down, Vargas over the middle and almost intercepted by Greg Battle. Battle, who has 6 interceptions on the season, almost had one there and might have scored had he been able to squeeze it.
You know, guys like Damian Lyons and Don Smith are wondering how they catch this guy. I mean, here's the middle linebacker leading the team in interceptions. You know that bugs the defensive backs. They got to be talking about that in their meetings.
In fact, both these teams are led in interceptions by their middle linebackers. Larry Rock leads Edmonton. He also has 6.
Yeah, he's ducking at it.
Adrian Smith is back deep again, along with Anthony Jordan. Here comes the rush, and Harper has more time, gets a good kick away. This is Jordan from the 15. And Bruce Dixon got down quickly to limit his progress. It's a return of 14 after a 53-yard punt by Glenn Harper. That's the final play of the opening quarter. Memphis leads Edmonton 4-0.
When anything needs lubricating, you can use new non-flammable liquid wrench with Teflon, or you can use WD-40 and dress accordingly. New liquid wrench with Teflon, the only non-flammable aerosol lubricant. Hey, nice threads. I notice you use liquid wrench here.
Yeah?
Just because it has thousands of uses?
No.
New liquid wrench with Teflon, the only non-flammable aerosol lubricant. So, happy with your liquid wrench?
Business ain't booming.
Hey, this feels nice.
Who's pulling on my shirt?
It's me, Johnson, fool. Is this Russell Athletic?
Sure, feel like cover stitching.
Must be that new blend fabric.
Yeah, it's tough, strong.
And no little fuzzballs.
By the way, anybody got the ball?
I think I got it.
That's not the ball.
Oh, sorry.
Looking for really tough athletic wear? Get Russell Athletic. Get tough.
When back pain strikes, ordinary pain relievers often aren't enough. Doctors recommend Robaxacet. It combines 2 active ingredients. One to relieve your back pain, the other to relax your tense back muscles. Ask your pharmacist for Robaxacet, helping you walk away from back pain.
The numbers through the opening quarter, Memphis had 5 first downs to Edmonton's 4. And look at the net yards. Memphis was just 87 and Edmonton was 74. They say it's the field. Maybe it's just 2 good defenses, Glenn.
Well, that's part of the problem. I mean, you have 2 great defenses. You got the great pass rushing defense from Memphis. You got a solid linebacking core in Edmonton. I mean, that's the key. And you see that 1 turnover in the statistics also where the Edmonton Eskimos were turned away from a touchdown.
There's Kerwin Bell on the sidelines for the Edmonton Eskimos. Bell had some inflammation in his knee. And Anthony Hill, number 11 on the right, may see some action tonight. He has had very limited playing time in 1995. The Mad Dogs 1st and 10 from their 29-yard line. And on 1st down, Allen wants to throw, goes over the middle, has a man, and completes it out there to Gary Morris, who makes the catch up at the 47-yard line. Good for a Memphis 1st down after a pickup of 18 yards.
Well, the key to this play was the tremendous time that Damon Allen had to throw the football. That rookie offensive line allows time for Gary Morris to come from the wide side of the field all the way across to the numbers on the opposite side. When you have that much time, it's tough for any defensive back to cover you.
1st and 10 for the Mad Dogs. Allen quickly got it up there for Jordan. He couldn't hang on. They're calling it a fumble. Willie Pless has it, has Damon Allen to beat, and now gets held up at the 7. Tackled from behind by Chuck Bradley. They're calling that a catch and a fumble, and the Memphis bench is upset, and Willie Pless is hurt.
You see Pless holding his leg now. Hopefully it's just a cramp. It looked like as he was running down, his leg might have cramped up. It didn't look like he really got twisted or anything in the tackle, but the outstanding player nominee doing it again for the Edmonton Eskimos. Number 39 in the middle of your screen is just going to flow out to the football on the short screen to Anthony Jordan. The hit from Kavis Reed, ball hits the ground, and then down the sideline goes Willie Pless. So just take a look here and see how he got hurt. If anything, his leg got underneath on the tackle by Chuck Bradley and slightly rolled on it. But heading into the playoffs, Edmonton does not want to lose Pless.
And he got caught awkwardly, as you talked about, on the separation between the AstroTurf and the grass.
See him just wiggling his ankle, and here's the end. You see Chuck Bradley chasing him down. Pless has to make the cut inside, and right there his left leg got rolled underneath the knee of Chuck Bradley, right on that turf in between the grass and the AstroTurf.
And Willie Pless is still down.
You know, Ron Lancaster said heading into this game, this one scares him. It's one of those games he hates to play in. He's got his stars out there, guys he needs to play well in the playoffs. This game means nothing to them in the standings, and he's really afraid that he's going to lose a player like Pless in a game like this.
Well, Ron Lancaster would make the case for Pless to be the Defensive Player of the Year in the CFL, basically because he's more versatile than Tim Caulfield, who is strictly a pass rusher.
Yeah, you see, he leads the league, of course, in tackles and always making the big plays. I agree with the argument to a point, Gord, as far as a guy like Pless has to do so many things, but Caulfield with 24 sacks, that's pretty amazing.
1st and goal for the Eskimos from the 7 after the turnover. Vargas with the give to Collins, and not much doing there, a loss of maybe a yard. The turnovers bring up a good point. The Edmonton Eskimos are plus 36 in the giveaway takeaway. If you take all the turnovers you give and all the turnovers you take, Edmonton gets 36 more than it gives away.
That's an amazing statistic. Plus 36 is fantastic for your football team, and the teams that win the Grey Cups are always on the plus side of that ledger.
Don Southern watched it for 4 years. He said all the Grey Cup champions were plus 18 or better. Report from the Edmonton bench, Willie Pless will be all right, so they can breathe a sigh of relief. 2nd and goal from the 8. Vargas to the end zone, incomplete for Chris George, who was well covered on the play. In fact, you would argue he was too well covered by Don Smith, but Smith comes up with a good defensive play, and Edmonton will send his field goal unit on the field for the first time.
This is a short end zones again, and Don Smith was allowed to just barely, basically stand there and take about 4 steps when the football was in the air. He hits Chris George in perfect time, and ball goes incomplete.
So Sean Fleming with little more than a chip shot, a try from the 14-yard line. Fleming puts it through, and the Edmonton Eskimos are on the board with 12:49 to play in the opening half. The Eskimos trail the Mad Dogs 4-3.
There's a very simple reason why there's nothing more reliable than Advantage 800 service. It's not the fact that even our backup systems have backup systems, or that a call can be routed through 8 million alternate routes if there's a problem. It's because if it isn't reliable,
we're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
you might as well do this to your business. Advantage 800. Everything in business should be this reliable.
The 3M Filtrete microparticle air filter outperforms all other 1-inch filters by getting more of the small stuff that's in your air out, like more dust particles. It also traps pollen and mold, particles that could irritate your allergies. It even gets animal dander. Try the Filtrete microparticle air filter. It gets more of the small aggravating things in your air out, even smoke. Look for the 3M Filtrete clean air filter wherever you buy furnace or air conditioner filters.
Game 5 of the World Series at Jacobs Field. The Tribe have to win. Man on for Albert Bell. He'll take Greg Maddux deep to the right side. That is his second home run of the series. That makes it 2-0. Now the next batter up is the Wiley vet, Eddie Murray. First pitch, Maddux with a little chin music. He'll go inside. The bench is clear. Cooler heads prevail. But the Tribe lead it by a count of 2-0 now after an inning of play. Let's get you back to Gordon Glenn.
Big plays by Albert Bell and Eddie Murray. Good luck getting a quote from either of them about it. Two of the more difficult men in baseball to speak to it. I know that from personal experience. 1st and 10 for the Mad Dogs from their 35 after the Edmonton field goal. Give goes to Al Shipman. Shipman picks his way over the middle for a pickup of 3 yards. That'll bring up 2nd and 7 for the Mad Dogs. Damon Allen in a very conservative offense is 5 for 8, 63 yards so far, but Memphis has to run what you'd consider the most conservative offensive scheme in the CFL.
Well, when they went to that double tight, I asked him yesterday, I said, what did you think about the double tight end offense for CFL football? And he said, it really handcuffed me. I mean, it takes away your options. All you can do is run, but now they can throw in some of that 5 receivers, and they spread it out a little more, so he's a lot happier with what he's seeing now.
High snap in the shotgun on 2nd and 7. Allen guns it there for a horn, and he was getting belted by a couple of Eskimos. Willie Pless was there, as was Gary Wilkerson, and Damon Allen got bumped at the end of it. There's a flag down on the play.
There's a flag on the play.
And it's holding against Memphis. So that will naturally be declined.
Holding. Memphis 64. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
Chuck Bradley, who made the tackle on Willie Pless earlier, is called for holding, and despite the holding, Benny Goods got in for a shot on Damon Allen.
You see him right here. There's Bradley, right tackle on the screen, and he's working on Benny Goods. He makes the inside moves, comes underneath, and Bradley has to grab onto that jersey.
Pete Gardier's punt chases the gizmo back to the 15. He watches it bounce around and now picks it up at the 12. Flags are down. It'll be no yards. Perkins got down to stop him at the 16-yard line, but that return will be aided. Perkins has got his hands in the air, but the penalty is going to take some of the bite out of that 57-yard punt by Pete Gardier.
Yeah, I think it'll only be 5 yards, so it'll be the bounce back rule. Anytime the ball hits the ground, bounces around, it's only a 5-yard penalty opposed to 15.
No yards. Memphis number 12. Memphis number 12 touched the football. 15-yard penalty. Oh. 1st down.
Whoops, can't touch the ball though.
No, that's interference, and of course that's 15, not 5.
So we got a 6-yard return plus a 15-yard penalty. It ends up being a 21-yard return after a 57-yard punt.
Get a shot right here, and we'll see where that ball's.
Oh, he tried to field it. Whoops.
Well, in week 17, I think we got to know the rules in the CFL. It's not downing the football.
From the 31, Vargas with the fake, can't find anyone open. And throws it right back over the middle. Greg Battle had Nick Mazzoli well covered. Battle almost had another interception.
Just coming off a bruised thigh where he almost didn't play in this football game, but he's one of those tough guys in the CFL. Play hurt, often does, and Boy, he's been close to 2 interceptions in this football game.
Well, it's an important game for the Mad Dogs, who must win and then hope for San Antonio to beat Birmingham. If that happens, then the Mad Dogs would play San Antonio. The Texans have beaten the Mad Dogs in both of their meetings this season.
Yeah, and one other in the preseason as well.
2nd and 10, empty backfield. Vargas, quarterback draw, and look at that. Stopped in his tracks is Vargas as Rob Waldrop, the first-year man out of Arizona, came up to make the stop. The D stands firm again, and Edmonton will have to punt.
Well, tremendous quickness by Waldrop as he comes upfield and then cuts underneath when Vargas runs the quarterback draw. But that's great quickness for a man who weighs in at 270 pounds, 6'1".
Glenn Harper is back to punt. Anthony Jordan is the lone man back as the Mad Dogs have 11 men up, but they set up the return. Good punt by Harper. Jordan from the 29. Hit quickly, he gets up to the 38. Flags are down. It's a 48-yard punt and a return of 8. 10:28 to play in the opening half. Memphis with a 4-3 lead over Edmonton.
It's getting light. 2 scoops.
Sound the alarm.
Wait, it's Kellogg's Raisin Bran. What? You know, 2 scoops of plump, juicy raisins and whole grain flakes with bran.
Come on! 2 scoops of raisins in Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
2 scoops.
Yeah.
It's the most energy-efficient home on the block.
900 dealer buying power
means saving energy and saving money.
For easier car starting this winter, get the Noma Block Heater Timer.
We buy big,
you save big.
Only $19.97 after $5 mail-in rebate.
Now that's buying power. Plus lots of friendly advice. 100% Canadian owned. Insulating you from low temperatures and high prices.
Great price, friendly advice at Home Hardware.
115 years of tradition. One distinctive recipe. 0 preservatives. Too smooth for words. 100% Canadian brewed. 5% alcohol. Equals 1 good beer. It's all we do, 'cause this bud's for you.
Not a bad night in Memphis to start with. Temperature in the 60s Fahrenheit. Bit breezy though. The field is dry. We understand that there are tornado warnings in the area. It's 15 degrees Celsius, by the way. They only had the metric system in Canada for 20 years, and I still don't know the temperature.
You still convert it?
Yeah, I still convert everything. I can do mileage, or I can do kilometers. I can do everything else. I can't do the temperature.
You got to learn the system, man.
Oh, we've only had it for 20 years.
Yeah, come on, get with the program.
Illegal block against Memphis on that punt return puts the Mad Dogs back to their own 25-yard line. 1st and 10. Allen on play action, steps up, and over the middle he goes, complete. He got it up there to Sean Collins. And Collins out of Northern Arizona with a gain of 16 yards and a 1st down.
This offensive line for Memphis is doing a tremendous job. All rookies. The only guy with experience is center Vance Hammond, and Damon Allen can have a team meeting in the time he has back there. Receivers are being able to cross all the way across the field.
Collins 6'3", 210, more like a tight end than a prototypical CFL slot back.
Yeah, but he can run at 210. He's in the 4.5 range.
Flags are down. There was all kinds of early movement, and play is called before things get underway. And you can see his procedure, and Pepper
Illegal
Rogers
procedure.
tells you.
Memphis 51, 5 yards, still 1st down.
Bill Lewis, the right guard, is called for illegal procedure.
Here he is right here. Let's take a look and see if he jumps early.
Whoop.
There it is. Pretty obvious there. You got Benny Goods with 14 sacks across the line from you. Sometimes you're going to take that early jump.
So that'll bring up 1st and 15 for the Mad Dogs. Blitz comes from the outside. Allen gets it away quickly, but Kavis Reed is there to cover his opposite number, Anthony Jordan.
Allen's pass complete to number 24.
And limits the gain for 5 as the Mad Dogs get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, when they get into the game plan for the Edmonton Eskimos, you got to think that when they circle number 40 on the board, they say, let's get 2 guys on him. He's got 14 sacks. You see him double team there. That's Benny Goods, all CFL in 1994.
And Goods ran wild against the Mad Dogs in the second half of their first meeting of the year. 2nd and make it 11 for the Mad Dogs. From the shotgun, Allen gets it away over the middle, has Gary Morris, stopped by Glenn Rogers Jr., and he should have a first down as Morris makes the catch and hangs on.
Well, one of the things in the game plan is that if you're getting blocked up on your front 4, what you do is you send a little more pressure. Here's Willie Pless right here. He's going to head right up into the middle, and he's going to run the stunt, and Edmonton sending the house. Every defensive back, including Trent Brown, or linebacker, excuse me, including Trent Brown, is on the blitz, and you see Pless getting in there late.
Morris, though, picked up 14 in the Mad Dogs' first down. Again on play action. Allen out to the sideline for Joe Horn, and they're going to call it a catch at the Edmonton 38-yard line. Horn bobbled as he went out of bounds. Glenn Rogers Jr., a Memphis native, was there on the coverage. Pick up 18.
We're going to take a good look right here of Horn working on Gary Wilkerson. Now, Wilkerson's in a zone, so he's watching the quarterback. You see his head back to the quarterback. He's not sure until that ball's in the air, he can't make his break. Once the ball's in the air, he makes his break, and because Allen puts so much zip on the football, and Gary Wilkerson is out there on that turf, he just can't get there in time.
First down from the 38. Back to the ground for Shipman. Big hole up the middle. And across the 25 to the 23, the football came loose. The Eskimos are saying they've got it. And it is Edmonton football. Second turnover of the game forced by the Eskimos. Kavis Reed was the man who came up with the football. We don't know if he's the man who recovered the fumble or if he's the guy who won the arm wrestle in the pile.
See a great look at the outstanding nominee, Willie Pless. He's going to have to fight off the block of Vance Hammond in the middle. Look at him keep working to the outside and get involved in the tackle, and he's the one who knocks the ball out from Al Shipman. Kavis Reed comes up with the Edmonton Eskimos' 85th takeaway of the 1995 season.
That is remarkable. And that is an amazing statistic. You take the ball away 85 times.
The next closest team is 23 takeaways away. That's BC.
Here's Jerry Collins trying to slip outside. Not much doing as he is gang tackled by the Mad Dog. They had a team meeting on top of Jerry Collins.
Sometimes you go into the huddle, and just to get the team kind of riled up, that middle linebacker, a guy like Tim Cofield, will say, hey, let's have a team meeting at the football. I'll meet you at the football. Well, they took it literally on this play. Jerry Collins, because of the pressure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if Dawson had wanted to jump on, it would have been 7. And the Mad Dogs, as you can see, lead the league in those 5 critical defensive categories. They actually marked that as a gain of 1 for Collins. And flags are down as the play will be called before it gets underway. But look at that. They've allowed the fewest touchdowns, the fewest passing touchdowns, the fewest points per game. Interestingly enough, the opposition is completing 58% of its passes against the Mad Dogs, but the key is they only allow 6.5 yards per pass. Of course, they lead the league in sacking the quarterback.
Sure do. They're 3 ahead of actually Edmonton in that category. Edmonton in 3rd place, but Tim Cofield with 24 of his own.
Running on the Mad Dogs is a pretty futile proposition. Penalty was procedure against the Eskimos, brings up 2nd and 15. Lots of time for Vargas, who wants to air it out. Looking for Eddie Brown, who got bumped at the end of the play, but it's a solid defensive play by Ed Berry. Ed Berry and Eddie Brown go back a long way, teammates in Toronto, Edmonton, and Memphis.
Lots of time for Chris Vargas to throw the football, and Eddie Brown tried to give him the old stutter step move down the sideline. He's working on Ed Berry, and he saw just at the beginning of that shot, he sort of slowed his speed down, then took off for the ball. Now, had Eddie Brown been running full out the whole time, he might have been able to catch up to that football.
Anthony Jordan is back deep to receive this punt from Glenn Harper, who stands in his own 5. The rush is on. Harper just gets it away. Goes down, but there's no flag. Jordan from the 52. And gets it down to the Edmonton 48-yard line. Glenn Harper appears to be hurt of a play after a 33-yard punt. And no return. Back with more from Memphis in a moment.
The 3M Filtrete microparticle air filter outperforms all other 1-inch filters by getting more of the small stuff that's in your air out, like more dust particles. It also traps pollen and mold, particles that could irritate your allergies. It even gets animal dander. Try the Filtrete microparticle air filter. It gets more of the small aggravating things in your air out, even smoke. Look for the 3M Filtrete clean air filter wherever you buy furnace or air conditioner filters.
In the year 1995, television came to an end, to be replaced by a new technology, one that was far more advanced, that could produce true realism and offer the viewing experience that no television ever could. A completely superior line, known as UltraVision.
If the choice was yours, you'd wear something casual to work. But in reality, you have to wear steel-toed work boots. So you wear comfortable, lightweight Dakota Aggressor work boots with the safety you need and the all-day comfort you want. So, when work's finished, you're not. Dakota Aggressor work boots for men and women, only at Mark's Work Warehouse.
Edmonton punter Glenn Harper talking to Eskimo team doctor David Reed. It appears the right arm is what got injured.
See the pressure coming right up the middle, and he got the shot right on that right side, and it's like his arm was extended when he went to kick that football. Had he done the old dive there, he might have got a break on the penalty.
Sean Fleming is the backup punter for Edmonton. The field goal kicker has a 43.5-yard average on 2 punts. One of them went 62. First and 10 for the Mad Dogs from the Edmonton 46. Allen, quick drop. Can't find someone open, and now just slings a one-hopper down there, and flags are down. Glenn Rogers Jr. and Cavis Reed were down there. Anthony Jordan was the intended receiver. It appears the call will go against Edmonton. And it will. Glenn Harper continues to receive attention down on the Edmonton bench. Looks like his elbow got popped with a helmet.
His elbow or that wrist? They're trying to check out
illegal
both joints.
Contact on an eligible receiver. Edmonton 24, 10 yards, first down.
Cavis Reed is called for illegal contact downfield. That'll give Memphis a first down.
You're going to just see it to the left of your screen. The ball is going to hit the turf. Cavis Reed was doing a little clutching and grabbing on the sideline. Gets the call.
So it'll give the Mad Dogs a first down at the Edmonton 36-yard line. 5:14 and counting to play here in this first half. 4-3, Memphis leads Edmonton. Allen from the shotgun on first down. Swings out of the backfield for Shipman, who fumbled the last time he had the ball. And Shipman still going inside the 20. Glenn Rogers Jr. and Cavis Reed finally brought him down at the 18-yard line. It's a pickup of 18 yards and a Memphis first down.
Well, from the design of the play, Memphis wanted to go 3 receivers to one side of the field, and against the Edmonton zone, just throw it behind those receivers to Shipman and then let him do the rest. He's been having a great game so far, and with great quickness, not only does it go across the field, but he goes across that minefield where Willie Pless is hanging out. Takes a lot of courage to do that, and he's having a great football game.
First and 10 Mad Dogs from the Edmonton 18-yard line. Allen under pressure, trying to get away from Goods, and does. Looking for someone to get open, but finally forced out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Leroy Blue, Trent Brown, Willie Pless, and Benny Goods were all giving chase.
Yeah, they sent the house, did Edmonton Eskimos. Willie Pless and Trent Brown from the safety position coming on the blitz, and Damon Allen had to run for his life basically there, had no one to throw to downfield. Just instead of making a forced play and possible interception, makes a good decision, goes out of bounds.
Damon Allen said before the game the key was to score when the opportunity presented itself. Memphis tied with Ottawa for the fewest touchdowns scored in the Canadian Football League this season. Loss of 5, 2nd and 15 for the Mad Dog. Allen facing a 4-man rush, swings it out of the backfield, but it's knocked down by linebacker Larry Ruck.
Number 32, Bruce.
He was looking to swing it out of the backfield, but it falls incomplete, and the field goal unit once again comes on the field for Memphis.
Well, when you send pressure from your linebackers, you want to get the matchup of linebacker either free or on the running back. That time, Larry Ruck was working against right tackle Chuck Bradley. Couldn't get any pressure, so puts his hands up and bats it away. The Edmonton Eskimos' outstanding Canadian nominee.
Nick Mystrom with a try from just outside the 30-yard line.
9 for 10 from this range.
Pete Garnier to hold. Mystrom puts it up and puts it through. The Mad Dogs have 7 thanks to 2 field goals and a single from Nick Mystrom. 3:25 to play here in the first half. Big NHL trade tonight with the latest. Here's Darren Detition.
Hey, thanks very much, Gord. Indeed, it is that. It's not what you'd call a 6-for-6 swap, 5-for-5, or 4-for-4. It's even up. A couple of all-stars switching teams. Colorado gives up on Owen Nolan as they deal him to the San Jose Sharks. In return, the Avalanche acquire Sandis Ozilnich with 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points so far this year. As for Nolan, he's got 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. It is indeed a very big swap. Once again, Colorado and San Jose pulling the trigger on a huge trade. Let's get you back to the ballgame.
All right, Glenn, Sandis Ozilnich for Owen Nolan. Who do you think got the better of the deal?
I like Nolan.
Why?
I had him in my hockey pool 2 years ago. It did all right for me.
Did you know who Sandis Ozilnich was? Come on, be honest.
Yeah, I heard of him.
What position does he play?
He plays right wing.
No, he's a defenseman.
I knew that.
We got to get you into hockey this year, my friend.
I'm going to get one of those.
We're going to get you into hockey.
I'm going to get one of those stats books.
And on the Edmonton sideline, Sean Fleming is practicing his punting as Glenn Harper was injured on his last kick. So Fleming may be called upon to do both duties for the Eskimos. Jerry Collins and the Gizmo, Henry Williams, are back deep to receive the kickoff from Nick Mystrom after the field goal. Bounces down around the 30. Picked up by Collins at the 25, and he slipped at the 33-yard line, and that's where the Edmonton Eskimos will begin with 3:23 to play in the first half.
So ironically, you know, Ron Lancaster thought about leaving Glenn Harper at home, and now when you see Sean Fleming warming up, looks like Glenn Harper got hurt. He was gonna, the only reason he didn't leave him at home is because he wanted him to hold for Fleming on field goals. See Chris Vargas' number.
Through his 10th interception of the season earlier in this half. And Vargas to the shotgun on first down. Far sideline, he goes for Chris George, and look at Don Smith close so quickly. They mark his forward progress out to the 42-yard line. It'll be just short of an Edmonton first down.
Don Smith was in man-to-man coverage, and Chris George ran a real precise curl pattern. Perfect play, and Don Smith just had to make the tackle.
3-minute warning in Memphis with the Mad Dogs leading the Eskimos 7-3.
Bell Advantage presents You Make the Call. August 3rd, 1995. Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on Toronto. Kent Austin going deep to find Paul Massotti. He makes the catch. Does he go all the way for the touchdown? You make the call.
It's one thing to claim that there's nothing more reliable than Advantage 800 service. That over 99.99% of all calls on our long-distance network get delivered to their destinations. But what does that really mean to you and your business? Well, it means that the only way you're likely to miss a call is if you don't answer it. Advantage 800. Everything in business should be this reliable.
Paul Massotti hauls in this Kent Austin pass. It seems headed for a touchdown, but Sam Rogers catches up and strips Massotti of the ball at the 1-yard line. Rogers prevents the touchdown, and the Tiger Cats go on to beat the Argos 20-16.
Coming up at McDonald's halftime, we will hear from Steve Earhart. There you see him, of the Memphis Mad Dogs. Will try and clear up the playoff picture in the Canadian Football League, and Gordon Glenn will give us their first half thoughts. Let's get you back to the football game, guys.
Second and short for the Edmonton Eskimos, and Glenn Harper smiling down on the Edmonton sideline, so apparently he's okay. And we will chat with Steve at halftime about the goings-on in Memphis this year and what they hope to see in the future south of the border. And you see the big ice pack. So I think Glenn Harper's immediate future is watching this football game. I doubt we'll see him for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, but with a kicker, a sore elbow really isn't a problem.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you've been retired, what, 2 months now, huh? And all of a sudden it's easy to play the game. Michael Sauls with the carry straight ahead. Should be close to an Edmonton first down, although it will be a close call. They'll need a measure.
Ron Lancaster didn't want to bring Glenn Harper. We talked about that earlier. This is what he was worried about, is having some of his guys get hurt heading into the playoffs.
Edmonton comes into this game with 12 wins on the season. Talk about consistent excellence. It's the 11th straight year the Edmonton Eskimos have won 10 or more games in a season. And of course, they have not missed the playoffs since the first term of the Nixon administration. It was a first down for Michael Sauls, or the second term of the Trudeau administration, if you prefer. First and 10 for the Eskimos from the 43. We will not discuss politics tonight, guarantee it. Jerry Collins with the carry, and he is buried. 3 Mad Dogs got there, including Jeff Sawyer and Rob Waldrop, and not much doing. It is tough to run against this Mad Dog defense.
Tremendous job by Waldrop coming in underneath. The second big play he's made. He did it on Chris Vargas on the quarterback draw, and then with Collins on this sprint draw. Again, it's Rob Waldrop right in there on the play.
On second down, Vargas got hammered, got the pass away somehow. Eddie Brown had it for a moment, but they ruled no catch up at the 51-yard line, and Chris Vargas absolutely got labeled.
Well, Darryl Ford was coming from the outside on the blitz and comes in straight through, and just at the last second, Rod Conop just got a piece to lighten that blow on his quarterback. That blitz from a former All-Canadian in Darryl Ford almost got Vargas killed. See Sean Fleming into doing the punting, so Harper's gonna rest for the rest of this one.
First time he punted this year, he hit it 62 yards. This is a good kick. That's with the wind, but it bounces down to the 8 to the goal line. Jordan picks it up and is brought down at the 6. There's a flag down on the play. How about that? A 67-yard punt by Edmonton's backup punter. Glenn Harper better get healthy in a hurry. Now that was wind-aided.
Yeah, I'm sure he's over there on the sideline almost taking that ice pack off, saying, you know, this
I feel
feels
fine.
okay,
yeah, you know,
actually.
I feel okay. I can kick now, yeah.
And a lot of coaches, you know, Ron Lancaster hasn't been one to talk about it very much, but a lot of coaches like to have a kicker that can do both jobs.
Well, because it opens up a spot in the roster.
That's right. We're not suggesting that Glenn Harper's job is in jeopardy by any means, but...
Well, illegal block against the Mad Dogs moves them back half the distance to the goal line. So they'll start from their 2.
See what kind of drop he gets. All the most important part for the punter is that drop. Nice and straight. Ball's got a little bit of a turn to the inside, and he turns it over with the wind.
1:58 to play in the first half, and the Mad Dogs have 108 yards to go to score. The give goes off to the tailback, and Lucius Floyd, the former Eskimo, has a gain of maybe a couple. Lucius Floyd, as you mentioned, traded for Eddie Brown midway through the season.
That was the trade that gave us the opportunity to see what Eric Blount could do. Of course, he's not in the lineup for Edmonton. They're resting him back at home, but interesting statistic, when Eric Blount wasn't in the lineup, the offensive production for Edmonton was 75 yards rushing a game. With him in, it's 128.
I'd say he makes a difference. Second down, Allen pump fakes, wants to go up the sidelines, and it is incomplete. Looking there for Sean Collins, but he was well covered by Memphis native Glenn Rogers Jr. And Glenn Rogers Jr. has done his bit to aid attendance here in Memphis. He's got 60 family members at the game tonight.
Unbelievable, and you see Kavis Reed on the sideline. Wasn't fooled by the out and up. Sean Collins ran to the outside, then broke it up, called the wheel route, but Kavis Reed would not be fooled. He's had a very quiet but a very consistent good year, has Kavis Reed.
Pete Gardier deep in his own end zone to punt this away. The gizmo awaits at the Memphis 50. Edmonton setting up the return. This punt into the wind. flutters down to the 38-yard line. The Gizmo watches it bounce. Now picks it up. No yards will be the call. Gizmo limited to no game. Attack on 5 on the bounce. 7-3 Memphis leads.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by 3M Canada, imagining the unthinkable and developing the unknown. That's 3M Innovation at Work.
You see BB King's Blues Bar. As Dave Ewell makes the call, no yards against the Mad Dogs. We were fortunate enough to see BB King play his own bar last night. That goes out as one of the all-timers.
Oh, that was amazing. And we were in the presence of greatness there.
True greatness last night. BB King's birthday bash is tomorrow night here in Memphis, but when you get a chance to see someone like him in his own place, that was special. Here it's 1st and 10 for the Eskimos from the Memphis 29-yard line. Vargas, pump fake, and the corner route for Jim Sandusky. Nothing doing on the play as it was very well covered by Jamie Redmond. It'll bring up 2nd down.
Redmond comes over from San Antonio, was on their practice roster, but he was sitting back in the zone, and Vargas had to really thread the needle because Jamie Redmond had the perfect coverage. He wasn't fooled by the short pattern, stayed back deep on Sandusky, and nothing doing.
2nd and 10 now for the Eskimos. Just over a minute to play here in the first half. Vargas from the shotgun. Has time, has a man complete to Nick Mazzoli right at the 1st down marker, and he got smacked by Jamie Redmond that time. It's a gain of 10, should be right close to a 1st down.
Here's a guy, Jamie Redmond put the hit on him, but Nick Mazzoli having his best ever season. He's his best season by 23 receptions, 250 yards. He catches the out. Redmond puts the hammer on him. A fair hit, nevertheless a hard one.
From Simon Fraser University. What is it with these Simon Fraser guys tonight? What are you having an alumni meeting or what?
Well, you know, basically you can look at any team and it's an alumni meeting.
Oh.
Lots of Simon Fraser boys playing around the league.
The preceding message brought to you by. It was a 1st down. 1st and 10 for the Eskimos now from the 19. And Vargas again from the shotgun. Eddie Brown with the catch down to the 12-yard line. Brought down by the safety man, Don Odegaard, another former Hamilton Ticat. There are 6 in the lineup for Memphis tonight.
Well, so far right now, coming down the last couple of plays, Memphis has been in zone, and we've seen a couple of out patterns, but right there you see Jim Sandusky slipped in behind the coverage, in behind the zone defense, and had Vargas saw him, that was 6 points.
Gain was 7 at 2nd and 3. Fake the draw for Collins. Vargas gets it to the end zone, flags down, and Eddie Brown didn't make the catch. Brown just kind of short-ended that in the end zone, kind of short-armed it. And now we'll see what the flag's all about. It's offside Memphis, so the touchdown would have counted.
Well, I'm not sure if Don Smith got a hand on that as it was coming to Eddie
Offside.
Brown.
Memphis number 53. 5 yards, 1st down.
Jeff Sawyer's offside, costly for the Mad Dogs. It gives Edmonton a 1st down, and Pepper sees another call go against his team. Memphis is the least penalized team in the Canadian Football League this year. But that one was costly. 1st and goal now from the 8. Vargas, quick drop, end zone, touchdown. Chris George with his 1st touchdown catch in the Canadian Football League. And 29 minutes and 31 seconds into the game, we have our 1st touchdown as the Eskimos take the lead.
And Chris George was working on Adrian Smith in man-to-man down in the end zone, and Adrian Smith should know with this type of end zone he should play inside position. He didn't. He played on the outside shoulder of Chris George, and that's the only place where George has any room to run in there. Into that end zone and comes up with the touchdown.
From Glenville State College in West Virginia. The point after is good, and the Edmonton Eskimos, with 29 seconds left in the first half, have a 10-7 lead on the Memphis Mad Dogs. Chris George is another player who's got lots of family here tonight. Lots of the players visiting from Edmonton have folks coming in from all over the place.
You see right at the top of your screen, Adrian Smith is playing on the outside and then can't get around to go to the football. He cuts underneath, which is the cardinal sin for a defensive back. Unless you can get your hand on that ball and you know for sure, you got to play the upfield shoulder. That means the shoulder furthest downfield. Adrian Smith didn't do it. George comes up with the catch.
Now George is motioning to a member of his family to come down and get the ball.
Well, it's his first touchdown. He wants to put it right in the trophy case. He's going to ask one of the family members to hang on to it.
What'd you do with your first touchdown ball?
Still have it. Still have it.
And your first touchdown was?
It was against an interception against Roy DeWalt and the BC Lions in 1987.
Yeah, that's nice. I bet you that's his dad. Now, of course, you're going to have to keep it very... I think the ball's safer on the sidelines. I never know why people put the ball up in the stands. I'd be way more worried about someone stealing it up there than down on the sidelines where your own people can watch it.
Well, it's nice to see, though, that Dad had the perfect technique for carrying that football.
Funny story, though, a couple of years ago in BC, a player caught his first CFL touchdown pass, got so excited he threw the ball into the crowd, then he realized what he'd done. He wanted the ball back. No shot. Lucius Floyd takes the kickoff back at the 13-yard line. Trying to find an alley up the middle. Camus Reed stops him at the 35-yard line. The first touchdown drive of the game is engineered by the Edmonton Eskimos, who go 5 plays in 29 yards. They got some help from penalties, too. And it wraps up with Chris George on the 8-yard touchdown reception. 21 seconds to play now in the first half. And the Mad Dogs with the ball just shy of their own 35-yard line.
So far, the game going perfect for Ron Lancaster and the Edmonton Eskimos as far as he'd like it. No injuries other than Glenn Harper and...
Oh, other than the punter.
And they're ahead. Well, Glenn Harper's got an elbow problem. I'm sorry, I can't give him sympathy. He's a kicker that has to kick the ball. If he had to kick it with his elbow, I'd be worried for him.
Allen from the shotgun for Jordan. And he'll slip out of bounds up at the 43-yard line. 15 seconds to play. And there's a flag down. Looks to be against Memphis.
You see Damon Allen in the shotgun, and Tony Woods is coming around on the stunt. He has a chance to maybe lower the boom on him, but his old teammate, he slows up on him and doesn't put the hit.
Oh, is that why he did it?
No, that's not why he did it. He did it so he wouldn't get the penalty.
Holding is the call against Memphis, and it puts the Mad Dogs back to the 25 with 15 seconds to go now in the half.
A couple sacks on the year for Tony Woods. Actually, the lowest production from that defensive line that is consistently up in the 9 and 10 sack range per person.
Oof, not much doing there. Shipman got bumped as soon as he got the football and actually was limited to no gain. And jumping up there was Melvin, the big game hunter, they call him, because it seems like whenever it's the playoffs, he plays great.
Yeah, it says 8 sacks on the season and comes up and puts a nice hit. Benny Goods is helping up, and see Melvin Harper cleaning up from behind. Melvin Hunter, pardon me.
Make it 2nd and 19. This will be the final play of the first half, and Damon Allen simply drops to a knee. The Memphis Mad Dogs held the lead for most of the first half, but the Edmonton Eskimos grabbed it in the final minute. Mad Dogs must win to make the playoffs. We've reached the half. Stand by now for our McDonald's halftime show.
McDonald's Halftime, presented by your local McDonald's restaurant. Here's Darren Detition.
Welcome to McDonald's Halftime. For the best teams in the CFL, this last week of the regular season is just a sidebar, a chance to rest some key players and prepare for the playoffs. Just like the Eskimos tonight, who know their fate and their opponents in the first round. Calgary will play host to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Well, just up the highway in Alberta. Their arch rivals, the Eskimos, will take on the defending Grey Cup champion BC Lions in the first round. Now, 5 teams do advance from the north, so that leaves 1 spot still to be determined. Saskatchewan and Winnipeg are currently tied for the 5th and final playoff spot. With the Green Riders in BC on Saturday, we'll have that game for you right here on the Sports Network starting at 10:30 Eastern Time. If Saskatchewan wins, they are in. It is as simple as that. Now, if Saskatchewan does not win, that opens the door for the Bombers on Sunday as they play host to Ottawa. The Eastern Rough Riders, who shocked the Ticats this past weekend, will once again be looking to play the role of the spoiler. But at home, with a possible playoff spot in the line, Winnipeg is going to be extremely tough, and you know some of the Bombers will be keeping their eye on what's happening on TSN's matchup on Saturday night.
You know, I think BC's going to play them really tough. You know, they gave Baltimore all they can handle, and you know, it'll be interesting to see which quarterback they're going to pick. You know, Danny. I hope Danny gets a start. You know, he's tough this time of the year.
If it's a good game in the first quarter and the second quarter, and that means BC's doing well, I'm going to watch the whole thing. If it's tight, I'm going to bed at halftime.
I don't know even how much I'm going to watch, to tell you the truth. I mean, we can only control what we can control, and that's going to be Sunday afternoon. And I'll probably, you know, flip to it. But, you know, if Saturday Night Live is on still or something, maybe I'll check that out.
I got to hope and pray that BC steps up like the team I know they can and beat Saskatchewan. And then I motivate myself off of that game by pumping up, just hoping that they lose, you know, and then I'll go into our games Sunday knowing that we only have to win, and then we're in. If we lose, I mean, if BC loses, then I'll be very hurt.
Saskatchewan and BC, 10:30 start Saturday night, going to be a dandy. As for the South, things are a little more complicated. The Mad Dogs must win tonight, as aforementioned, to stay alive. If they lose, then Birmingham will play San Antonio, and the Texans will host the Cougars on Sunday. Home field advantage goes to whoever wins in their final game of the season. That's if Memphis loses tonight. Okay, we're going to have to take ourselves a short break. But coming up next, more news from around the CFL, some of it not that pleasant. We leave you with the CFL's outstanding nominees for the year-end award. Stay tuned. We're back with more in just a few moments. Welcome back to McDonald's Halftime. According to a story earlier this week in the Globe and Mail, the CFL is in dire financial straits. The article quotes the CFL's chief operating officer as saying all 13 teams will lose significant amounts of money this year, totaling close to $30 million. The article is also reporting that as cost-cutting measures, the league would lower its salary cap from $2.5 million to $1.5 million. Now, also according to the story, the team that's hardest hit north of the border, the Ottawa franchise, owned by Horn Chen, the paper projects losses of $4 million for this season. Now Mr. Chen is trying to renegotiate his lease arrangement with the city of Ottawa. Chen currently pays $17,500 per game, but there are a number of other variables, which include concessions and a ticket surcharge. The city of Ottawa says that they have given all that they can give. From one team that might be moving to another team that seems intent upon it. The Shreveport Pirates, owned by the Gleibermans, who left Ottawa 2 years ago, are now ready to leave Louisiana. Owner Lonnie Gleiberman says that if they can sell enough tickets in Norfolk, Virginia, the team will in fact be moved. Unfortunately for the CFL, the lack of stability affects everyone involved with the league. Now, somewhat of a ringleader for the U.S.-based teams is Steve Earhart, who is standing by live with our own Gord Miller in Memphis.
Thanks very much, Darren. It has been a good news, bad news year for the Memphis Mad Dogs. The good news is they're competing for a playoff spot. Steve, I know you're pleased about that, but off the field, it's been a struggle.
Well, we're very, very proud of what the organization has achieved, playing for the playoffs, our last home game of the year here. A great deal of pride and everything. Certainly we need to educate the public down here, get more television. Fans have to get a chance to get to know the players in the game down here in the States.
There's so much talk in Canada, I think you'd say fear in Canada, that there are people down here that want to overhaul the rules, that want to either go to 4 downs or the U.S.-sized field. Are there owners down here? Does anyone in Memphis want to see 4 downs or anything like that?
Well, I think it's a long-term educational project with the fans. The folks that come out here to watch the game, they're used to seeing the high school and the college, a little league ball. It's hard for them to understand those. So we're not advocating an overthrow of the rules or anything. I think we just need to fine-tune a little bit. Plus, we need to get the game out to the public. Like we're seeing this game, or you're seeing this game all over Canada, but nobody here in the States is getting to see it. So we're working hard to get more television so the fans can appreciate the game.
When you say fine-tune, what do you mean? Like, what are some changes you'd like to see?
We have a few pet peeves. The no yards rule is a tough rule to enforce. And Henry Williams, remember, played for us here in Memphis. He made a career out there in Edmonton playing with that. But just some little things. We're not advocating any big overthrow. We just want the U.S. fans to embrace the game in greater emotion.
How do you think you can get to the U.S. fan?
I think it's television. Down here, we're competing with the collegiate game, the NFL game. They're not getting to see this game down here, and that's why it's tough to compete with all those other entities. And so we need to work hard to get the players exposed so people can appreciate the Rodney Hardings, the Tim Cofields, the Damon Allens, some of the great players here playing in the CFL.
People look at the Baltimore Stallions as a success story for any expansion team. What lessons have you looked at and learned from them?
Well, they certainly came in on the coattails of the NFL drive and the Baltimore Colts name. They did a great job promoting it, and they're in an area where they don't have a lot of competition from the collegiate game. Right here in Memphis, we have the University of Tennessee, Arkansas, Ole Miss, University of Memphis. A lot more competition here in the South. That's why I think you find a little more struggle in the Birminghams, the Memphis, and the Shreveports. But we're working way through it. We're proud of what we've achieved this year and happy to be playing in the league.
Steve, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Steve Earhart is the Memphis Mad Dogs representative to the CFL Board of Governors. Darren?
Hey, thanks very much, Gord. So what is the CFL's future? Tomorrow at McDonald's halftime, we will talk to the commissioner of the Canadian Football League. Larry Smith will be my guest. We'll also have a CFL fan poll. It's halftime of the Stamps Argos game. That's tomorrow on TSN.
McDonald's halftime, brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant.
Welcome back to McDonald's halftime. We anticipated a tight defensive game, and that's exactly what we got in the first half, although Al Shipman had a strong contest for the Dogs, 71 total yards in offense. Mad Dogs really hurt by the 2 fumbles. Damon Allen has tossed for 133 yards in this game, and Chris George with his first ever career touchdown for the Edmonton Eskimos. It's 10-7. Let's get their thoughts. Gordon Glenn standing by in Memphis. Guys?
First thought for me, Darren, I hope that tornado doesn't come before the end of the game. But, you know, we talked about before the game, we thought it would be defense. And there's a lot of good offensive players in the field. Make no mistake, they accounted for more than 70 touchdowns over the last 3 years. But there's just too much good D out there.
Yeah, some great defense. And the key is the turnovers. And when those defenses are getting backed up into the red zone, they're shutting the door on the offense. And that's been the key. Right now, Edmonton increases their takeaways to 85 on the season, which is incredible with the 2 fumble recoveries. So when they get down to scoring range, they're shutting the door.
Now, we saw that Edmonton broke loose in the 4th quarter against Memphis a couple of weeks ago. Do you see either team breaking through here, showing signs of maybe solving the other defense?
Well, you know, when you have Joe Paopao as your offensive coordinator, he knows how to beat any kind of defense in this league. So I know he's going to go after them and look at things to change up when it comes over the second half.
Yeah, a little windy here, too. Darren?
Hey, thanks very much, gentlemen. It's amazing how that flag isn't moving. Of course, it is a standard light fixture. Dogs down by 3. We're back with the second half in a moment.
Getting ready for the second half now at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Teams open things up a little bit in the second quarter, but look at Edmonton, 29 yards rushing. I think the Eskimos are a different team without Eric Blount. I think so. And the Mad Dogs have turned the ball over twice. Can't say it enough. 85 takeaways by the Edmonton Eskimos in 17 and a half weeks of the CFL season. That is an astounding number. They take the ball away an average of 4 times a game. And one guy we talked about before the game was Tim Cofield, but Edmonton's done a pretty good job neutralizing him.
Well, he's off the board as far as the sacks go. He's made a couple of tackles, but right now he's getting a lot of double teams. That right tackle for the Edmonton Eskimos, Chris Morris, is doing a nice job on him. So, you know, he had 5 sacks in the first game in the first half of the last game against Edmonton. Maybe he's waiting for the second half to do it in this one.
Well, as the coaches like to say, they won't want to leave anything in the bucket here in the second half, because the Mad Dogs must win this football game and then hope that San Antonio beats Birmingham. And there's all kinds of questions about who would play quarterback for Birmingham. It's not necessarily going to be Jimmy Klingler. They might go to their 3rd stringer to replace Matt Dunnigan, who of course was injured in a game against Edmonton last week, a broken finger that will end his season. Ron Lancaster smiling and laughing before the game, and why not? His team could go to 13-5, and he talked about Eric Blount. We did too. They are 53 yards better with Blount than without him.
And that's with that same offensive line, same scheme, so you got to know that Eric Blount makes a difference in that gameplay.
And just 29 yards rushing on the night through the first half. Memphis will get the ball to open the second half. Fleming's kickoff is taken by Al Shipman. at the 30-yard line, trying to find some room to run. He retreats, trying to get outside, and he gets up to about the 28-yard line. He ran a long way to get 8 yards. Tackle was made by Cavis Reed as Damon Allen gets set to come back into the football game. Vargas was 10 of 19 in the opening half. Allen was 10 of 16. I mentioned his completion percentage this year of 58% is the best in his career. But how about this for Damon Allen? Lifetime in the regular season, he's a 51% passer. Postseason, he's 12% better. A two-time Grey Cup MVP.
He's a gamer.
He told me yesterday, if we get into the playoffs, I honestly believe we can get to the Grey Cup. First and 10 from the 29. Allen slings it out there to the wide side of the football field. Complete for Horn out to the 42-yard line.
Well, one of the reasons Damon Allen said that he was confident they could get there if they got in the playoffs was that they'll have to play in the playoffs on the road.
True enough. They're better on the road than they are at home so far. We talked about that in the first half. They're 7 points better on average in road games than they are in home games. Pickup was 13 for Horn. First and 10 Mad Dog. The give goes to Shipman, and Shipman fights his way out to the 48-yard line. And the stop is made by Malvin Hunter along with Willie Pless. Al Shipman out of the University of Miami.
You see Pless just hanging back, trying to avoid the blocks by Perkins coming downfield. We saw earlier in the game Perkins getting to Larry Ruck. Pless, the wily veteran, knows how to be patient, take his time, and then get in on the tackle.
He's from this part of the world as well. Anniston, Alabama. Second and a couple. Allen fires it out to the sidelines, looking for Anthony Jordan. It falls incomplete. Punting situation, and again, Allen says, my fault.
With a team that runs the ball so well, 4th in the CFL in rushing yards per game, 2nd and 2, they go to the air. One of those tendency breakers.
That's why teams scout themselves. There are teams that actually scout themselves to make sure they're not getting into any kind of rut. Pete Gardier to punt into the wind. It's a tumbling kick, and it gets by the gizmo back to the 10. Williams has a long way to go, gets only 4 yards back. Mark Walchuk, the long snapper, got down to make the stop. Tomorrow, the Calgary Stampeders go to Toronto to face the Argonauts. We've got the game for you from Sky Dome starting at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and a number of Stampeder players have a shot at CFL and personal bests.
And Mike Pinball Clements, right there on the left of the screen, is leading the league in all-purpose yards.
Got a chance to put the big bow on that title. First and 10 for the Eskimos, now starting at their own 15-yard line, just underway in the second half. Swinging out of the backfield, here's Jerry Collins. Collins gets out of bounds at about the 20-yard line, forced out there by Damian Lyons. There's a flag down in the Memphis defensive backfield.
I don't want to falsely accuse someone ahead of the time, but I think Jim Sandusky's going to get called on a crackback block because he came down to help out Jerry Collins.
Holding.
Okay.
So you're not psychic.
Okay.
You're still better at guessing this year than I am.
Let's just see if at least it was on 7.
Holding. Edmonton number 7.
Oh.
10 yards. Still first down.
I think you get half points for that.
Okay, well, I get half marks because I knew that was the guy, but it looked like Sandusky came in and he grabs there, and I saw him go down later.
He's water skiing behind him.
Got both hands on the shoulder of Jamie Redmond.
Well, that'll back the Eskimos up to their own 7-yard line now. And it's 1st and 18. A big stop here for the Memphis defense would give the Mad Dogs good field position. Vargas at the goal line. Gets it out there for George, who makes the catch up on the 24-yard line.
Wow, this is going to be close as to whether or not it's a first down. George runs his out pattern one-on-one on the backside away from the 3 receiver side and just gets to that first down marker. Don Smith was on the coverage, and it's going to be close. They're just taking a look at it on the sideline now.
Chris Vargas has had an up-and-down season as Edmonton's quarterback. He was in and out as the starter back when Ron Lancaster had the revolving door spinning, but Kerwin Bell had a solid second half of the season. In fact, entered this week as the 4th-ranked quarterback in the Canadian Football League after a solid second half.
Well, in his last 11 games scored, he has 18 touchdown passes versus 5 interceptions based on their takeaway giveaway for Edmonton. That you can see where that helps out. They like to control that football.
Just shy of the first down is George. It'll be 2nd and inches. Good chance to go over the top here if Edmonton's in any kind of a gambling mood. They are not. They give the ball to Michael Souls, and the big fullback goes over the top and has an Edmonton first down.
Number 32, Michael Souls.
Last week in Winnipeg, we saw the Bombers on that same situation fake it to try going over the top. The thinking being, if you don't complete the pass, you can still gamble on 3rd down.
It gives you the options, but when you're on your own 25-yard line, it becomes that much bigger of a gamble.
Points are hard to come by in this game. There's the kind of Statue of Liberty play. They fake the pass, give it off for Collins, and Collins gets out to the 38-yard line. What do you call that?
That's the Statue of Liberty.
Is it? I thought you had to put the ball backwards for the Statue of Liberty.
Close enough. Jerry Collins heads around. Every offense has their own terminology, but it's basically the same play. You see the fake, and then around he goes on the end around, and Jerry Collins makes a nice move right in the middle of your screen on Darryl Ford to get the extra yards.
It was a pickup of 12. Vargas goes back for Collins and makes the diving catch at the 38-yard line. No gain. There's Joe Paopao, the offensive coordinator, with Kerwin Bell in the background, and Paopao signaling the plays. And maybe the turning point for Edmonton's season was when Joe Paopao came out of the spotting booth and went down to the sideline.
Well, you know, Edmonton would like to think it's more that their play than having a coach on the sideline that turned it around, but he does help. He's good with the quarterbacks on the sideline.
Vargas looking for Sandusky, and he might have died if he'd made that catch. Jamie Redmond had him lined up and was just waiting for Sandusky to catch that pass.
Well, you know, sometimes you get sort of locked in. Jamie Redmond was playing the deep outside third. That's a deep third of the field in zone coverage. And had he been looking at the football and the throw, he would have had the interception. And you see Cofield, why he's off the stat sheet as far as sacks go. Chris Morris doing a good job on him.
Glenn Harper's back, so he saw Sean Fleming punt that one 67 yards. Says, I want my job back. This is Jordan from the 27-yard line. Gets up to the 41 before John Kalin makes the stop. 10:30 to play in the 3rd quarter. Edmonton leads by 3.
We take you back to the World Series 5th inning, 2-1 try, bases loaded. Marquise Grissom with a chopper. Hershiser gets a hand on it, no play. Klesko scores. It is now 2-2. Braves lead the series 3-1.
And here the Memphis Mad Dogs have it 1st and 10 at their own 41-yard line. Damon Allen with the fake, wants to go deep, over the top. Ball was tipped and almost intercepted by Gary Wilkerson. Last week, Gary Wilkerson picked off a pass and went for a touchdown against Birmingham. 5th time in his career he's done it.
Watch the pressure that Damon Allen had to deal with. You know, he drops back, and most of his receivers, 3 out of 4, went deep on that play. That means he needs more time, and Leroy Blue coming in from the outside just wouldn't give him that kind of time.
By the way, Gary Wilkerson with that 5th interception return for a touchdown, now tied for 2nd all-time in the CFL. Dickie Thornton holds the CFL record with 8. 2nd and 10 from the 41. Allen from the shotgun has to bring the ball down. Flags are down. Allen is off and running and gets hammered from behind by Willie Pless, and that probably propelled him to a 1st down, but we'll see what the flag is all about.
Well, judging by Leroy Blue's reaction, the holding was against him. He had his hands up in the air like, they grabbed me.
Holding. Memphis number 62. 10 yards. Still 2nd down.
Christopher Perez gets called on the holding. Working on Leroy Blue on the play, and immediately he put his hands up in the air. Here he is right here. We'll just take a look and see the holding that goes on. Now they tell you when you're going to block, you have to have both hands inside on the inside plates of the shoulder pad. When those arms come out and go around the outside of the shoulder pads, that's when you get nailed, and Perez did it there.
Draw play on 2nd and long. And the give goes to Gary Anderson, the veteran of the USFL, NFL, and now the CFL. He picked up 11, but will be well short of a first down.
Well, you know that Edmonton Eskimos are going to be sending pressure, and they're going to be keyed up for the pass, and you see Willie Pless, who's hanging back with 2nd and long in the zone, comes up with the tackle to hold him well short.
Pete Gardier with the punt for Henry Williams, who struggled tonight in the punt return department. Flags are down. And Williams from the 28-yard line, and Memphis may get another shot at the ball here. Pete Gardier was roughed, and Willie Pless is back there shaking his head.
Well, we'll see if there was contact or if there was actual.
Wow.
If it was actually just a good acting job.
Tell me again, this game doesn't mean anything for Ron Lancaster? Here's the call from Dave Ewell.
Contacting the kicker. Edmonton 39, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Woo. And Ron Lancaster's hot. We'll see if he's right.
Well, he's hiding the fact that he's upset well, isn't he?
That's as mad as I've ever seen Ronnie at an official.
Well, here's the kick. Gardier's got the ball. Willie Pless is going to come right in the middle of your screen. See if he gets a hand on him. No.
No, he's right. Ron Lancaster's right. That's a terrible call.
Pless gets out of the way plenty early.
First down, Mad Dogs from their 52. Back to the ground they go, and Al Shipman with the carry, a pickup of 4 yards. Wow, Ron Lancaster was really giving it to the officials, and he was right.
And it took him a few seconds there just to get the headphones and hat back on, because they went straight to the ground when he started talking to the officials.
I thought he was going to pop a blood vessel down there.
This is a nothing game for Ron.
Yeah, oh yeah.
These guys are awfully competitive, whether you're a coach or a player. You cross the stripes and are on the football field, you want to win. Doesn't matter what the standings are.
I want to say hello to his grandson in Regina, but Digger, as he calls him, was a little mad in that play. Sometimes grandpas lose their temper. On second down, Allen swings it out of the backfield for Perkins, who puts his head down and goes out of bounds at the Edmonton 42, a pickup of 12 yards and a Memphis first down. And when Bruce Perkins gets that 232 pounds in motion, he's tough to stop.
Well, Willie Pless is going to flow from the middle of your screen to the outside. He's just late getting out on Perkins, who gets the width advantage, gets outside of Willie Pless's left shoulder and gets the leverage on him to catch that out.
First and 10 Mad Dogs from the Edmonton 42. Shipman in the I formation gets the carry, gets through the middle of the defense, and here he goes. Inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Cavis Reed and Glenn Rogers Jr. made the tackle. And Al Shipman with a gain of 22.
Wow, that's just a tremendous job of blocking from the right side of the offensive line. Bill Lewis, number 51, opened a huge hole. Al Shipman with great acceleration hits it at full speed and gets a nice gain from Memphis. He has been running the ball reckless abandon tonight.
Now they're into that red zone inside the 20. Toss goes for Shipman. He's bottled up, nowhere to go. Willie Pless was just standing there waiting for Shipman to make his move, and Pless got all kinds of help from that Edmonton defense, and Shipman loses a yard.
Watch Willie Pless get the crosshairs on Al Shipman. He goes that way, I go that way, I got him dead to right.
Make your move.
And then he just directs him over to his help and makes a tackle.
Don't shake the hips, don't give me the shoulder move, just move your feet and then I'll take you out.
The Terminator terminated.
Second and 11 for the Mad Dogs. Big play here. Allen with the fake, look into the end zone, and that ball would still be in play if this game was being played at Commonwealth Stadium, but it is not here. And as a result, the field goal unit will come on the field for the Memphis Mad Dogs. That 5-yard corner did not do the Mad Dogs any favor there.
Well, it was a great job by Damon Allen just to get the ball off initially because he had good pressure. He's in the shotgun, receives the snap, and then instead of throwing out to the flat, he pump fakes, buys him a little bit of time. You see Benny Goods coming in, putting the hit on him, but ouch. You're right, Gary Morris was wide open in the end zone and basically ran out of room.
Meistrom's field goal try from the 22. Pete Gardier with the hold. And he missed it. He missed it to the right. Field goal kicking again haunts the Mad Dogs. 10-8, Edmonton leads. Back in Memphis, where the Edmonton Eskimos have the football back, leading it by 2 now, 10-8, after Nick Meister missed a 22-yard field goal that would have tied the game. Chris Vargas on first down goes to the shotgun. And over the middle he goes for Nick Mazzoli, who can't hang on. Let's go back to the field goal now. I mean, this is the game Memphis has to win to make the playoffs. You might want the 22-yard field goal.
Well, he was 10 for 12 in that range coming into the game. Basically just a chip shot. He thinks initially that it's in. Kind of turns around, talks, and then he goes,
what?
Wait a minute. He still thinks it's good. He had to have a teammate come up, tap him on the shoulder, and say, hey, they waved that one wide.
Vargas on second down gets it out there for Jerry Collins, and he is tripped up very quickly on the play by Bobby Dawson, another former Hamilton Ticats.
Well, take a look at the ball. Right there now. Let's see if it goes in just outside the post.
Wow.
Nice call by the official.
But the Memphis defense holds, and the Mad Dogs should get the football back. Glenn Harper is in there to punt. His last effort was 43 yards. Another good kick. Drives Jordan back to the 20. It's returnable for Jordan, but he can't get away from the initial wave. Jed Roberts gone down to help make the stop along with Mark Tobin. A 54-yard punt with the win. A 15-yard return. 5:09 to play in the third quarter. Edmonton leads at 10-8.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by Dodge Trucks, Canada's truck stop.
Beale Street. Might go back there tonight.
Are we going to do that?
What do you say?
Check it out. Okay, you twisted my arm.
It's our last game together this year. We might as well.
I hear ya.
On first down, the draw plays goes to Shipman, and Larry Rock just got a piece of the shoelace. And Pless got in there to help out as well.
5 straight years all Canadian, and this is why. Taking on the block, fighting off it, and with one arm, bringing down the ball carrier, Al Shipman.
Pickup on the play was 8. Now 11 carries for 94 yards for Shipman. And another one of those second and short situations. Back to Shipman, off tackle, nothing. And at the bottom of that pile, you'll find Benny Goods. And this may force Memphis to punt. In fact, Pete Gardere is already on the field for the Mad Dogs.
Well, see, Willie, now he has to take on Vance Hammond and Christopher Perez. That's 280 and about 3 bills. You're looking at 580 pounds versus Willie Pless that weighs in at 210. Bit of a mismatch, but
it left all the other guys free to go make the stop. The Gizmo back to punt. And Gardere will have to kick it into that wind. Williams is a long way back for a punt into the breeze. And they're trying to kick it away from him. This is the Giz from the 23-yard line. Up the sidelines he goes and goes out of bounds at about the 34. 3:48 to play third quarter. Memphis must win, but the Mad Dogs trail by 2. Closed captioning for tonight's game provided by Apple Auto Glass. Guaranteed the pick of the crop from coast to coast. It's a windy night in Memphis, and as we mentioned earlier, there's actually tornado warnings in the area. I mentioned earlier too that the season debut of CIAU football on TSN is coming up on Saturday. The Alberta Golden Bears against Brent Schneider and the Saskatchewan Huskies, who made it all the way to the Vanier Cup last year. And Schneider had a great day on TSN last year against UBC with 8 touchdown passes in the football game. He was something else that day. Jamie Bone and Rod Smith, our new CIAU football play-by-play man, will be there. And Rod, well qualified for the job. He was an offensive lineman at Queen's University. Here, the Edmonton Eskimos have it 1st and 10 at their own 34. Vargas sets up that receiver screen for Eddie Brown, but flags are down, and so is Brown up around the 38-yard line. And the indication from Tim Cofield is that the call is going against the Edmonton Eskimos.
And he probably knows that because it was holding against him.
That's right. He was the guy being held. Now, what does Memphis want to do? I guess you force the Eskimos back after the gain of 7.
Illegal block. Edmonton number 80. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Nick Mazzoli with the illegal block.
He came from outside of the tackle box. That's the box from tackle to make the block, and you're not allowed to do that on the crackback block from outside. And you see right there, he gets in behind Ed Berry and
might have been some holding there too.
Grabs onto his towel.
First and 20. Vargas will try the other side for Sandusky, and whew, that was another one that was close to being picked off. Damian Lyons has seen a couple of those wide side outs just hanging there, and that time Vargas couldn't get it to Sandusky.
Chris Vargas walking around going, okay, that's not bad. I one-hopped it, but if I didn't, Damian Lyons gets it. It's a long throw in the Canadian Football League. Throw that wide field out.
Doug Flutie told the story about his first year in the CFL. He pumped fake because the guy wasn't open. All of a sudden he realized he was about to uncork the longest throw of his life to try to get 8 yards. Second and 20 for the Eskimos, and Vargas in the shotgun. Over the middle, Mazzoli's open, avoided the hit, and has the catch. Ed Berry had him lined up, but Mazzoli sidestepped him at the last moment. Nice catch, but it will leave him about 8 yards short of a first down, a pickup of 12.
Well, the best part about this play is the fact that Nick Mazzoli coming across the middle shows no fear, and he knows when they're playing zone like Memphis was that he's going to get smacked when he comes across that middle. Didn't even hesitate, grabbed that ball and hung on.
Glenn Harper to punt to Anthony Jordan, and the Mad Dogs need someone to make it happen. A big special teams play or a big defensive play. They need someone to break it open for them. Harper gets a good kick away. Jordan backs up to the 22. Trying to get outside, he cannot. Tripped up on a great special teams effort by J.P. Escuerdo. So the Mad Dogs will start at their own 29-yard line, and Damon Allen will go to work after a 51-yard punt by Glenn Harper.
Not bad numbers, but you know the one stat he'd like to see a couple of numbers in is that touchdown. He had Gary Morris open on a corner route earlier in this half and ran out of room.
His 12 touchdowns on the season are his lowest total since the 1988 season, when he barely played because of an injury. He's been 15 or better since. Allen throwing it up over the top. They were trying the out and up, but it ended up being kind of an out waggle by Joe Horn.
Well, Joe Horn ran the out, up, and out. And believe it or not, there is that kind of pattern. He goes to the out, gets the pump fake from his quarterback. You see him working right here on Gary Wilkerson. There's a little hook. Then he's going to go up, and then he's going to hesitate and say, well, there's no way I catch that one. I'll save it for the next play.
Pepper Rogers looks on intently. 1:45 to go here in the third quarter. Mad Dogs trail it by 2. On second down, Allen. Here comes the rush, and he got away. Now sidearms it for Gary Anderson, and he's got a first down at the 42, but he dropped the football. He lost the football, and the Eskimos have it. What a play. Allen, first of all, somehow eludes the rush. Anderson gets a first down, but then loses the football. And the takeaway again by the Edmonton Eskimo defense.
86 and counting for Edmonton, and what a crucial time after Damon Allen. Like you said, Gord, someone needed to come up with the big play. Damon Allen does here, avoiding the rush by safety Trent Brown on the blitz, dumping it off to Gary Anderson, and then you saw Robert Holland, who comes up from his corner position to play the Sam linebacker. That's the strong side linebacker in this game. Makes the nice hit, gets the ball loose. Larry Ruck recovers.
And of course, by that you mean that tweener, the so-called tweener, the defensive back who plays linebacker. And Memphis with another costly turnover, the Mad Dogs third. First and 10 for the Eskimos from the Memphis 42. Vargas gets over there for Sandusky, but the pass ball's incomplete. Now flags are down after the play as there's some pushing and shoving. Chris Morris is getting into it with one of the Memphis defensive linemen.
Yeah, but I think the penalty is going to be on either Tim Cofield or Michael Souls. They were both hand fighting. You see Cofield pointing, saying, he hit me first. A little bit of frustration on the guy who's looking for 3 sacks to break a CFL record.
2 major fouls, unnecessary roughness, Edmonton 32, Memphis 55, penalties offset, 2nd down.
I hate that. It's probably the right call, but I hate that.
Offsetting penalties?
Somebody had to start that. It didn't just happen. Look at that, eh? Michael Armstrong into it with Chris Morris. We've seen this before from Morris this year. He's normally very quiet and reserved.
He's had a feisty season as nominee for Rookie of the Year in 1992.
2nd and 10, Vargas from the shotgun. Look out, Cofield got through, but Vargas got it away for Collins underneath. He gets down to the 35. He'll be 4 yards short of an Edmonton first down. And Chris Vargas was lucky to escape with his life, with Tim Cofield bearing down on him.
Well, Tim Cofield, you got to know that obviously winning the football game is #1, his priority, but he's been thinking about those 3 sacks all week and trying to break that record. He finally gets a shot, and Vargas lets go of it just in time, and Cofield, showing the frustration, throws Vargas to the ground, and you see one of the premier linebackers in the league flowing to the ball and getting involved in the action.
Sean Fleming from the 42-yard line. 13 of 25 this year from outside the 40. Harper with the hold, and Fleming yanked it. Missed it to the left, and Edmonton's lead is back to 3, 11-8.
Now, Gord, I'm going to get a tape measure and go down and measure between the 2 uprights here in Memphis, because the way the kickers have had nightmares here, especially the games that we've done, it must be narrow or something. I don't know.
Maybe there's some kind of force field or something. He just yanked that from the start.
Well, we'll see the hold. You see the laces getting spun out of there by Glenn Harper.
That's that right hash mark, though, that he hates.
And he usually pulls it, if he misses from that hash, it's to the right. He obviously trying to compensate, pulls it to the left.
Glenn Harper, his holder. Still trying to nurse that injured elbow. So the Mad Dogs get away with a turnover there and get it 1st and 10 at their 35. Here's Shipman on 1st down. Good job to pick his way through the middle for 4, and now there's some more pushing and shoving after the play. We saw a couple of Mad Dogs come flying through there as Vance Hammond got knocked on his can. That's the final play of the 3rd quarter. The Mad Dogs have 1 quarter to try to take the lead and keep their playoff hopes alive. The numbers through 3 quarters. The Edmonton Eskimos have just 42 yards rushing, but Memphis has turned the ball over 3 times, negating their successful rushing attack tonight with 115 yards along the ground. The Mad Dogs, one of 5 teams in the Canadian Football League, averaging over 100 yards rushing a game. Edmonton is another, but Tim Cofield has been held off the sack sheet tonight.
Has 15 minutes to get 3 sacks to beat that record, and you know what? He could do it.
And we talked about someone making a big play. If I had to pick someone for Memphis that was likely to do it, I'd look right at him. And you know he wants to make the playoffs. You'll not find a tougher competitor than Tim Cofield. And the next time he and Willie Pless meet will be in tuxedos on the stage, I would think, at the CFL Awards in Regina. I would be almost certain that these two would be going head-to-head for Defensive Player of the Year on. 1st down for the Mad Dogs. Allen from the shotgun. Flags are down. Allen over the top for Morris, makes the catch at midfield. Down to the 48-yard line, but don't put it in the books yet. This is coming back.
Yeah, you're going to get holding on Memphis. Leroy Blue over there telling the official, hey, they're grabbing me. You know, when Damon Allen is scrambling around back there, it gives that offensive line more time. They have to block longer, and usually that's when you're going to get your holding call.
Wipes out a 23-yard gain.
Memphis 64, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Chuck Bradley, the right tackle, is called for holding, and Memphis, the least penalized team in the Canadian Football League this year, has been victimized tonight. That's their 13th penalty. And Pepper Rogers snaps at the officiating group.
Here he is right here. We'll take a look and see. He's working on Leroy Blue and see if he gets called on the holding coming from the outside. Actually, ends up being Benny Goods. It ends up being Benny Goods on the stunt, and he grabs him right around the neck. He did the old horse collar and
I don't know.
Nailed.
I think Pepper might have a point there. The net loss is 33 yards for the Mad Dogs, who are now pushed back to their own 28-yard line. Now the officials have to discuss something. 14:41 to play here in the 4th quarter.
Chuck Bradley, 6'6", 300. Big, big offensive lineman.
Only 4 games in the CFL this season have had fewer than 30 points. 3 of them have been played here at the Liberty Bowl.
Bradley, looking at him right there, played in Barcelona in the World League before joining Memphis.
I can tell you an amazing story about Barcelona in a moment. Damon Allen, second in a bundle. Throws it underneath. Oh, what a hit. Larry Ruck unloaded on Gary Anderson. And you can hear it all the way up here, and we are a long ways away. That was big league right there. And this is what it sounded like. Ooh. Wow. That sounded like hitting a trash can with a hammer is what that sounded like.
Well, it's being the hammer and
not the nail.
Not the nail. Gary Anderson was the nail, and amazingly, he jumped up. What a huge hit from Larry Ruck.
Gardier's back to punt. And Anderson's still trying to find his bearings on the Memphis sideline. The Gizmo's back to receive. He'd love to bust one. From the 27. Nothing doing. Stopped at the 32. A 51-yard punt. A return of 5. More World Series action going on. Darren has an update.
Hey, thanks very much, Gord. 6th inning, 3-2 for the Tribe. They add to their lead. Manny Ramirez with a base hit to the right side. Albert Bell, who was intentionally walked, scores. It's 4-2. Now, in the top of the 7th inning, the Tribe has to win the game.
Well, Darren, the Mad Dogs have to win this one. If they're outscored by the Cleveland Indians, I don't think they make the playoffs. That's one of those seldom used Canadian Football League rules. If the World Series game outscores yours, you don't make the playoff. Chris Vargas sends it back. This is a pass for Eddie Brown. Man wide open. And gone. Jim Sandusky. Will he get there? Yes. Touchdown. 78 yards. The hitch and pitch to Eddie Brown. And Brown, who was practicing his throwing before the game, was a high school quarterback. And a 78-yard hitch and pitch touchdown to Jim Sandusky, who has the catch for his 4th touchdown of the year.
Oh, they love it. You know, this is one of these plays that you practice all year. You don't know if you'll ever get a chance to run it, and then when you do, so many things have to go right. You first have to catch the ball. It has to be behind the line of scrimmage, and then a guy who's not used to throwing it has to lay it out there, and Eddie Brown throws a strike to the wide open Jim Sandusky. It works to perfection, and Eddie Brown in the play ran 60 yards to congratulate the receiver.
He almost beat Sandusky to the end zone. What a great play by the Eskimos, and now the point after from Sean Fleming. And it is good, and the Edmonton Eskimos now with a 10-point lead with 13:07 to play in the 4th quarter. The key to this play is right here. Eddie Brown's right hand. Normally he wears gloves, but he took it off before that play to throw the pass for the touchdown. Earlier this year, I saw Eddie warming up before the game, and he told me he was going to throw a pass for a touchdown. But I said, Eddie, how are you going to sneak the glove off during the game? He says, no one will ever notice. See, he's got the glove back on. That was a trick. He slipped the glove off, threw the touchdown pass. So from now on, when you see Eddie doing his Michael Jackson, the one glove bit, get deep. He's throwing.
Scouting report. If he's got the glove off, he's playing quarterback.
That's right. Sean Fleming's kickoff bounces short and out of bounds. I'll say it for the last time this year. Hate that.
Gordon Miller, pet peeve.
Yeah, kickers have come up to me this year that you really hate that, don't you? Well, a one-play drive that goes 78 yards. The Edmonton Eskimos with their 2nd touchdown of the game, and Jim Sandusky has his 4th touchdown catch of the year. By the way, Sandusky now falls behind Eddie Brown in the passing derby. Jim Sandusky 0 for 1 passing the ball this year on that receiver pass. Eddie Brown's now 1 for 1 with a touchdown. So they got to try to get at Sandusky so he can take the lead again. But he'll have a hard time getting those gloves off. They look welded on there.
Those are the glass cutter gloves. Yeah, but Sandusky coming into the game needed 39 yards to eclipse 9,000 receiving yards.
Look at those shoulder pads, huh? Like, I know kids that play bantam football that would be embarrassed to wear those pads.
Makes it easier to run those patterns and shake the bump and run coverage when you have the smaller pads.
He doesn't look like much going out to run a route, does he?
Well, he always gets you lulled to sleep. Remember,
yeah, and then
talking to cornerbacks in this league, they say it's hard to stay patient with Jim Sandusky.
Fleming's kickoff is taken by Shipman. Moves his way up through the middle and is stopped on the play by Errol Martin. So Damon Allen and the offense have some work to do. They're 10 points down with 13 minutes to play. And you're asking the Mad Dogs now to do something that's been tough for them to do in a full game in the stadium, and that's score twice.
Well, it's time for them to throw the game plan basically out the window. You know, they came in with the strong running attack and wanting to establish that running game, but it's time to throw the ball down the field. It's like they say, do or die. They have.
Oh, they got time though.
They have lots of time, but 12 minutes. They have to win this game to give themselves hope for the play.
And by far, the worst quarter for the Mad Dogs is the fourth. Allen with a good fake, gets out to the far side, and woof, that's a load when you look at that. Damon Allen got hurt on the play, hit late.
And he is really shaken up. You see him limping, not putting very much weight on that left leg.
Joe Horn with a catch, but the immediate concern is Damon Allen, and this may force Ricky Foggy into the game. And
I think it will.
Allen can't continue. Ricky Foggy has fond memories of this stadium. He was the MVP in the Liberty Bowl game here when he played at the University of Minnesota. They beat Tennessee 21-14 back in 1986. Foggy rather, had the best game of his collegiate career in this stadium. That was a long time ago, and it was college.
Well, you know, he's throwing 44% when he had to play when Damon Allen went out this year with a bruised knee in the Baltimore game. Ricky Foggy saw some playing time, and you know, 44%. He needs to get that higher, and now it's on his shoulders to get his team a chance in the playoffs.
All right, well, we have a break here. Let's send you back to our CFL Control Center and Darren Detition.
Thank you very much, Gord. Make sure you join us tomorrow night. It's the CFL Live on TSN. Larry Smith, the commissioner, will join us at halftime. It is the Calgary Stampeders and the Toronto Argonauts. Calgary 15-2, Argos 3-14. We'll also have a phone poll for the fans. Once again, it's the commish tomorrow. Let's get you back to Memphis. The Dogs in tough.
Yeah, they are, but you know what? Calgary did it again. Stampeders got 15 wins. I've told you about this before, right, Glenn? Only 3 teams in the history of the league have ever won 15 or more games in a season. The 89 Edmonton Eskimos went 16-2. The 93 Stampeders went 15-3. So did the 94 Stampeders. Not one of those 3 teams even got to the Grey Cup game, much less won it. It's a jinx, man.
There's 7 other teams in the league hoping that stands true this year.
So Ricky Foggy out of the University of Minnesota in his 8th year takes the place of Damon Allen.
Well, Damon was walking around during the break, and he was trying to put some weight on that. It looks like he may be back in this football game. He was putting weight on that left leg.
But he gives way to Foggy here. 1st and 10 for the Mad Dogs from the 52. And the give goes off to Lucius Floyd, who gets up to the 50 for a gain of 2. Ricky Foggy's best year in the Canadian Football League was quite likely the 1991 season with the Toronto Argonauts. 3,100 yards passing and 21 touchdowns. Damon Allen gets attention from the Memphis medical staff.
And what they're trying to do is just do any little extra taping, tightening up that ankle tape job, make sure he's got a little more support, so not only physically, but psychologically, he feels better about returning.
You see him talking to Adam Reed on the sidelines. Foggy from the shotgun, lots of time, and a man open down the sidelines. Horn with the catch. Flag down at the 11. Big lead throw by Ricky Foggy and a 44-yard gain by Horn. The flag is down, but it's got to be pass interference against Edmonton.
Wow, it really was an amazing throw from a quarterback who had a few seconds to warm up, has been cold on the bench for the whole football game, to come into the game and throw a strike like he does to Joe Horn down the sideline.
Edmonton number 20. Penalties declined. 1st down.
Wilkerson called for pass interference. Memphis with a 1st down at the Edmonton 11.
And we're going to get a great shot of it. Here's Joe Horn going down the sideline, and Ricky Foggy, the ball's in the air right now. And Horn just has to run under it. Wilkerson realizes he's beat, makes the contact early. Either way, it's a big gain, but Horn comes up with the catch.
1st and 10 rather, from the 11. Perkins is the lone setback. Foggy, quick drop to the end zone, incomplete. Looking there for a horn, but Gary Wilkerson on the coverage. And Horn is hurt.
See Horn working on the quick inside post pattern on Wilkerson, and had a chance. Wilkerson comes over the top and strips him of that football. It looks like he landed right on that shoulder, and the reason he's down on the field right now. But Edmonton on that play, Gord, because of these end zones, we're sending everybody. Trent Brown from the free safety was on the line of scrimmage, and so was Willie Pless.
Well, defensive coordinators have told me you can play man-to-man down here because you don't have that much room to cover.
Well, we talked about the corners playing inside. I mean, when you can basically have the field be your extra man and have him on the outside of the receiver, you got that advantage. Now you only have to take away one position.
Now, I know what people would say is that there's NFL end zones. I mean, in the NFL, they don't have a problem down there, but don't forget the goalposts are on the goal line here, which makes a big difference.
We get a look at it here. You see Pless, Trent Brown from the right of the screen, and here comes the hit. The ball bounces up in the air from Horn, and he comes right down on that shoulder, and Gary Wilkerson drives him into the turf. That's where you get the separation.
Damon Allen, we're told, has a sprained knee, and the word from the Memphis bench is he's finished for the night. So it's Ricky Foggy's game to win or lose. Now, just to finish the thought on the end zones, remember, in the NFL, the goalposts are at the end of the end zone. In the CFL, they're at the front of the end zone, so they take up space. Now, in a small end zone, with that goalpost in the middle, you've got even less room to work with.
Well, it's also in the sight line. If a receiver's in the back of the end zone, you're trying to throw it, that crossbar gets in the direct sight line of the quarterback, and it's tough to complete that pass.
All right, on second down from the 11, it's Foggy's game now to try to get Memphis into the playoffs. Here comes the rush. Foggy has time, but one hops the pass into double coverage. He was looking down there for Gary Morris. Now, what does Pepper Rogers do? 10:30 to play, and now a flag down. It's procedure against Memphis, so that pretty much eliminates any decision, I would think.
Illegal procedure, no end on the right side of the line. Memphis, penalties declined, third down.
It'll be third down, and we'll see the field goal unit. And remember, Nick Maestra missed from 22 yards out earlier.
Well, there's no question he has to kick the field goal. Down by 10 points, you have to score twice, a field goal and a touchdown to tie the football game. So when you're in this position, you have to take the points.
This try will come from the 19.
And he's 6 for 6 in this range, 0 to 19 yards.
Well, down 10, you do need the 3 for the tie, but Maestro puts it up and good. 10-12 to play in the fourth quarter. The Mad Dogs are back within 7. On the left, Pepper Rogers, a man who earlier this season made some statements about the Canadian Football League that they should move to 4 downs and an American field. On the right is Ron Lancaster, who said Pepper should keep his thoughts to himself.
Yeah, and on the right, you're maybe looking at one of the candidates for Coach of the Year. Ron Lancaster having another great season. You know, his team, even though the changes they had to make, have improved in every offensive category over last season.
Jerry Collins from the 22 on the kickoff return. And Collins out to the 36-yard line. Remember when Ron Lancaster took over the Edmonton Eskimos, there were problems. They had a lot of undisciplined players. They were known as a team of individuals. Today, this is a very well-disciplined team that, if not spectacular, is solid in every area.
They have lots of depth. They have a strong defense, and that's how you win in the playoffs. And they've got a good 2-quarterback system where both quarterbacks can play. Both quarterbacks have had success, so they're in a pretty good situation heading into the playoffs.
First and 10 for the Eskimos from their own 36-yard line. Back out for Jerry Collins. Is he going to throw? Not this time. And not much doing there as he got stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Tim Caulfield's having trouble getting the quarterback sack stats he's been looking for, but he's still executing his responsibility, and he's working on Chris Morris. His job on the play is to keep containment and let the rest of that team and Rodney Harding come over with the pursuit and make the tackle.
Chris Vargas, by the way, has 121 yards passing in this game. Receiver Eddie Brown has 78. So he's only 43 behind. If he throws another one, he might take the lead. Loss of a yard, second and 11, Vargas. Steps up, goes to the sidelines. His receiver slipped. Damian Lyons with the pick. And down to the 22-yard line. Oh, they'll be talking about the turf monster on this one. The Edmonton receiver unable to keep his feet out that AstroTurf sideline. Damian Lyons comes up with the interception.
Well, they needed the big play, did Memphis, to get something going. Nice dash move. That's to get outside by time, but you see George slip. That allows Damian Lyons, the former Edmonton Eskimo corner, to come up with the pick. And Chris Vargas, after he throws that ball, you see him get to the outside. Once he throws it and realizes his receiver slips, whoa, I got to go and make the tackle now or they score.
The Mad Dogs with the ball, 1st and 10 at the 21. You got to think that they must score here. Foggy remains in the shotgun. Lots of time. And almost two-hopped that pass. Looking out there for Joe Horn, who's back into the football game after being shaken up earlier.
Well, Benny Goods had some good pressure on Foggy. He sort of threw as he was rocking back and off his back foot, and he didn't get the velocity on that ball, and he knows it. And he said, hey, it's tough to throw when I'm in your face. Don't worry about that. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Benny Goods, the man they call the Grinch, because he looks like the Grinch that stole Christmas.
Well, leads the team in sacks with 14.
He's a little bigger, though. 2nd and 10. Again from the shotgun. Getting it away, it falls incomplete. Robert Holland was working over the intended receiver, Mike Dingle, but lots of pressure on Ricky Foggy, who got dumped hard again.
Well, Mike Dingle comes in that 5-receiver package for Memphis, and the guy that's covering him is the guy playing the strong side linebacker, but normally he's a corner in Robert Collin. He makes a break and almost comes up with a pick. And watch what Foggy had to deal with as he releases his ball. Look at Melvin Hunter coming full head of steam. Crosshairs right on Foggy's chest.
Now a field goal try for Maestrom from the 29. This to pull the Mad Dogs within 4. They're chipping away, but the turnover leads to just 3. Now 18-14 Edmonton with 7:54 to go in the 4th quarter. Closed captioning of tonight's telecast is provided by Apple Auto Glass. Apple Auto Glass, guarantee the pick of the crop from coast to coast. Memphis set to kick it off, and back deep to receive again is the Gizmo, Henry Williams, who does not have a touchdown yet this year. He has never gone a season without scoring a touchdown. By the way, it should be mandatory for there to be bans at every football game. Just thought I'd point that out. But the Gizmo has had a tough year. In fact, his punt return average is the worst of his career, just 10.1 yards. He's averaging 21.3 yards on kickoff returns.
Yeah, when you talk about his career, I mean, he has put up some amazing numbers. Still 4th in all-time, all-football combined yardage. You know who the other 4 are? Rufus Crawford, George Reed, Herschel Walker, and Michael Payton. Walter Payton.
Michael Payton.
Yeah. Walter Payton.
There he goes. Trying to get up the sideline, gets to the 45. Yeah, that 3rd-string quarterback from Regina had a lot of career yards, that Michael Payton. Dave Sapungis is the Calgary Stampede nominee for League MVP and Top Canadian. Is he the Northern Division nominee for the Outstanding Player, do you think?
I think he should be. I think he should be the nominee. He's leading the league in receptions, and he's done it with 2 different quarterbacks.
There's only one nominee for Outstanding Dog in the CFL. It's got to be Alien. Although we have seen a few games that had fleas this year. 1st and 10 for the Eskimos from the 45. Eddie Brown in that receiver screen, and he's collared down at the 45-yard line to pick up a 3.
While the DBs took off to come and tackle Eddie Brown because he's got 2 gloves on.
That's right. See, he's got both gloves on. He ain't throwing.
They got the word on him now. You see both gloves right there. And when he had the one off, he threw that touchdown pass to Sandusky. But on that screen, he saw them both there, and they flew up there and made the tackle.
And he keeps the gloves on, so he'll be catching this time. Actually, no gain on that play. It's 2nd and 10. Vargas over the middle for the fullback, Michael Souls. Souls reaches out for the midfield stripe, which is where he needed to get for the first down. Picks up 10 yards, and I think he'll be very close to an Edmonton first down. Eddie Brown, just going back to the former Memphis receiver, is one of the live wires in the Canadian Football League and one of my truly favorite characters. But quarterbacks call him 7-Eleven because he's always claiming he's open all night.
He's open all night, and a lot of times he is. Tremendous speed, great hands. He's a big play guy, always has been in this league.
3rd and inches for the Eskimos. Willie Plass is in there in that backfield set. And he gets the carry, and Willie, I don't know.
This is going to come down to where the official puts his foot.
Tim Cofield came up to make the stop in a battle of 2 of the CFL's best defensive players. The only difference was one of them had the football.
Well, that's one of the rare times you'll ever see 2 defensive players actually playing head-to-head. Cofield hitting Willie Plass, and that's where the foot is. Had to get just over that line, so they're obviously going to measure it.
You got a right-footed spot. That should help. Look at Ronnie laughing. They don't even measure it. We got the first down by miles, he says.
The officials time out of the field to measure.
Coaches, no matter how confident they are that they have the first down, get a little nervous when those sticks head onto the field.
And then they complain about the spot.
They complain, yeah, if they don't get it. If they get it, it's a great spot.
Bad spot. Well, that's how they got the good spot. They got the right-footed spot. Ronnie saying, I told you it was good. Why'd you bring the sticks?
And here it is. Outstanding player nominee and defensive player nominee against the same on the other side of the field in Tim Cofield. There he is, fighting off the block and putting the hit. He says, hey, I'll see you on the podium.
What color of bow tie are you wearing? Back to the ground, and Jerry Collins, great work to elude the first tackle. He gets down to the 48-yard line, a pickup of 7.
This is what makes the Edmonton Eskimos so good, and it's been so frustrating. I remember playing against them for so many years. They get a little bit of a lead, and then they can start grinding it out on you along the ground, always with the good running game when they needed it late in the football game. And this is right now where Memphis has to come up with a stop.
Collins with 8 carries for 36 yards. Edmonton Eskimos looking to go 13-5 on the season. Whoops, broken play. Vargas and Michael Souls were facing the opposite direction. Very difficult to execute the handoff when both players have their backs to each other.
It was close to the first down, but I believe the officials have given it to him, and I don't think we'll need a measurement on this one, but you're right, Gord. Quarterback went one way, running back went the other way.
They were in excellent position, though, to start a duel. 10 paces each way and turn and fire.
It's great when the quarterback turns around, no one's there. He's like, whoa-oh.
Danger, danger. But it worked. They got the first down. And flags fly before the ball was snapped with 4:40 to play in the 4th quarter. And procedure is the call against Edmonton. Nothing more frustrating, though, for a team. After the turnover, Memphis got some points to pull within 4. And now Edmonton.
Illegal procedure. Edmonton 58, 5 yards, first down.
Edmonton is just stuffing it down Memphis's throat. Craig Hendrickson is called for illegal procedure. First time we've mentioned his name tonight. Sorry, it's for making a penalty there, Craig. You're probably having a good night.
Actually, the offensive line for the Edmonton Eskimos have been having a very good night tonight. Also helped with the quick release of Chris Vargas.
So they run that play anyway, and Jerry Collins gets nothing. Chased down by Rob Waldrop. And so now the Eskimos are backing up, and any chance of a field goal right now to restore the 7-point lead looks pretty tough.
And just as we talk about that Edmonton offensive line, Rob Waldrop wants to make sure that we know that there's a pretty good defensive line over there as well, and he's made 3 big plays stopping runs for no gain tonight. No bigger than that one right there.
Loss of 2, it's 2nd and 17. Vargas from the shotgun, looking for Eddie Brown, looks the other way, double coverage, but has a man, George, down to the 34-yard line. You know what? That's exactly where they needed to get for a first down. Pick up a 17 yards.
Well, Chris George has got to run his pattern beyond the marker and then work back. He does it perfectly. Don Smith had perfect coverage. It was really just 2 great players battling for the football. George wins the battle. I mean, you can't get any better coverage than Don Smith had on the plate. The ball just snuck under his hand, and you see how he's about 4 lengths of the chain short of a first down.
You know, I'm a jinx for teams that are trying to make the playoffs and stuff. This year doing Memphis, they're down in the 4th quarter. Last year did Ottawa at Shreveport. Ottawa needed to win the game to make the playoffs, didn't. 2 years ago I did a game in BC where the Lions needed to beat Hamilton to finish 2nd, didn't.
And
I'm a
you know
jinx,
what?
man.
You know what? The phone's ringing. I think Pepper Rogers has told one of his assistants to get a call up there and get that guy out of the booth.
Hey, there's a trapdoor opening underneath me. What's going on here?
Well, that's a long drop if there is.
I know. I'll see you next week. 3rd and inches for the Eskimos with the clock running under 3.5 minutes. And now they go to another defensive player. The carry goes, I think, to Melvin Hunter. And I think he got there. So here we are in the press box at the Liberty Bowl with my pal Glenn Sooner. A great first year together. You're going on to Vancouver for a game on Saturday, but I'm going to go back and do SONHL Saturday night. This cutie right here, that's Dave Moyer, our stats man all season long. He gives us good restaurant tips. He gives us all the numbers. And he also tells us that that is what, Dave, first down?
He gives us the nod.
Dave nods a lot.
Which is also, that's great for TV, the nod. But hey, it was a lot of fun this year, Gord, working with you. I really appreciate the help, and hopefully next year it'll be the same, a lot of the same.
Well, you figure you'll be back, do you?
Well, I'm hedging it. I'm working on that.
Well,
I'm working on that.
I'll talk to you after the game.
Oh, okay.
Well, the Eskimos with a first down from Melvin Hunter. 2 defensive players have carries. Now they go back to a regular running back, Jerry Collins. And look at Collins fight his way down to the 27-yard line. And our stats man, Dave Moyer, says that's a gain of 7. And we've hit the 3-minute warning in Memphis. The Eskimos lead the Mad Dogs 18-14, and the Dogs are playing for their playoff lives.
We take you back to Jacobs Field. Jim Thome at the plate. Brad Klontz with the pitch. He knows it's gone. Thome turns on it, his first in the World Series, straightaway center field. It was huge. 5-2 Cleveland in the 8th.
That's the story at the Jake. Here at the Liberty Bowl, Edmonton has been outrushed, but the problem, same old story for Memphis. Too many field goals. Jim Sandusky with a 78-yard reception from another receiver, Eddie Brown. So you can play defense as well as you want, but the problem for the Memphis Mad Dogs is you got to score. And right now, the Edmonton Eskimos are in danger of doing it. There's a big play now, 2nd and 4, with 2:40 and counting to play in the 4th quarter. Memphis needs to stop and then needs some big plays to try to stay alive in the chase for a playoff spot. Give the fake rather to Collins. And now Vargas running, and he'll be close. Darryl Ford got him right at the 23. First down, Edmonton. Big first down for the Eskimos. Wow, you can feel the Memphis bench sagging, Glenn.
You really can. I mean, you know, they get a touchdown here and they're pretty much out of it. But what a job by Darryl Ford to run down Chris Vargas. He didn't have the angle. He got caught upfield, but still had tremendous speed. You know, in 1991, he led the league in tackles with 155 for Toronto.
First down for the Eskimos, and the clock continues to run. Back to Collins. Back outside he goes. Puts his head down. Still going. Look at Jerry Collins down to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal Edmonton after a pickup of 19 yards for Jerry Collins. And when they needed him most, Collins comes through with the yards.
Well, there's 5 yards of real estate that separates Memphis from the their playoff hopes, and it's right now. They have to stop them in this situation, or it's all over for them, because if Edmonton scores a touchdown here, it's pretty much out of reach. If they score a field goal, there's still chance for Memphis.
1st and goal from the 5. Collins stacked up and backed up to about the 3-yard line.
And Bobby Dawson filled that hole on Jerry Collins with a huge hit. And you see Greg Battle looking to the bench to decide whether or not he should call a timeout in this case.
And
stop the clock. And they do. There's Collins coming up the middle, and 27 puts his head down and hits him in the hole and stands him straight up.
Mad Dogs did not call timeout there. 2nd and goal from the 2. Vargas, end zone, touchdown, Mark Tobert. Mark Tobert with the touchdown catch. It's his 2nd of the year. And the U of A product has just about made sure that this man's team will watch the postseason.
Well, you can tell, I mean, they're awfully dejected over in Memphis, and Tobert gets inside of Ed Berry on the play, and Chris Vargas throws a strike. He has to throw it right under that upright we talked about earlier. And there's Tobert wide open in the end zone.
Mark Tobert, the 24-year-old from the University of Alberta, an Edmonton native, playing a long way from home. Sean Fleming with a point after. It is good. 1:08 to play, and the Edmonton Eskimos have an 11-point lead on the Memphis Mad Dogs, and that'll just about do it for Memphis.
You see Vargas finally getting a chance down in the red zone to put the ball in the end zone and throws a strike, and he knows it.
Without their starting quarterback, without a lot of their key offensive players. Look at this.
And that's,
yeah, man.
He's saying, despite this field, and I'll give you a couple of shots, he's beating up the field, I still got one in the end zone.
Now think about this. Memphis had driven the ball downfield thanks to a turnover and scored points. But then the Edmonton Eskimos just jammed it right back down on them. And that's got to be the most frustrating thing of all.
Oh, it is. As soon as you get that long drive, as soon as you got some momentum, and you're talking about the Memphis sideline, and you have a chance to actually win this football game and keep your playoff hopes alive, and then the team across the other sideline just drives it down. And that picture tells 1,000 words right there. Don Odegaard with his head down. Free safety for Memphis. Realizes that he's going to have a good seat somewhere in his living room to watch the playoffs.
Not the first time the Edmonton Eskimos have broken someone's heart.
No. I try to forget these things.
Kickoff is taken deep by Lucius Floyd. And Lucius Floyd still going, trying to get outside. Floyd up to the 48-yard line. 58 seconds to play here in the 4th quarter, and Memphis down 11.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you by Pepsi. Nothing else is a Pepsi. Vantage Long Distance Services from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Back in Memphis, where the Mad Dogs, after an up-and-down season, are going to try to do the improbable. Here's Ricky Foggy. Sidearms it and has a man down there as he completes it to Mike Dingle. And Dingle has a Mad Dogs first down, but the Eskimos will gladly give that up at this point. As long as they don't give up 2 touchdowns, that's all they care about. What a drive by the Edmonton Eskimos. 12 plays, 65 yards. It chewed up nearly 7 minutes on the clock. When Edmonton got the ball, there were 8 minutes left, and the Mad Dogs were only down by 4. Here's that wide side out, and that was almost pixies in a dance, as your old friend Anthony Drawhorn would say. Morris Lawler almost took that one back.
He sure did. It was a long throw by Foggy, and when you throw that out, you have to throw it right on time. It was a little bit late, and Lawler, you're right, almost pixies in a dance. Every meeting, Anthony Drawhorn said, if they throw that pass on me, that's pixies in a dance.
Oh, Draw.
Having a good year as a free safety for Birmingham.
Is he ever? And now he can breathe easy because his game on the weekend won't mean anything. Birmingham can relax and get ready for a playoff meeting with San Antonio. Pass is complete to Morris. And that's up to the 45-yard line.
Well, you know, I mean, you almost got to just throw in the Hail Mary here. I mean, Damon Allen forced to leave the game with the bruised knee, and Foggy's got to throw the Hail Mary. Hope they have a little bit of time left for the onside kick and one more play, but that's their only hope. Throwing these curls isn't going to get it done.
Foggy wants to go to the end zone. He leads the rush, and the pass ball is incomplete. There's a flag down on the play.
Well, I think if you're Edmonton and this is against Memphis, which it is, it's holding. You decline the penalty, keep that clock running, and get him in a second down. Actually, Ron Lancaster's going to push him back, so it'll be first down over again. But you know, those head coaches just want to keep that ball as far away as they can from your own goal line.
22 seconds to play in the fourth quarter, and the Mad Dogs are running out of options. From the shotgun, Foggy, Edmonton, and it's 5 deep defense. The pass is tipped in the air and intercepted by Kavis Reed. And Reed has it back to the 51-yard line. One away for the regular season to come to an end for the Edmonton Eskimos, as it very nearly will. Leading the league coming into this game with 34 interceptions. And Kavis Reed has another one there.
His 5th of the season. He gets a little bit of a deflection, and there's
flags down.
Fights on the field.
And we've got pushing and shoving, and fists are flying. That's Don Odegaard into it down there.
Of course, we had the shot of Odegaard on the bench moments ago with his head down in dejection, and he's actually left the pack there, but he was right in the mix there.
Not the way Pepper Rogers wanted to see his team end the season. And don't forget, coming up next on TSN Sports Desk with a complete wrap-up of a busy night in the National Hockey League. A trade today, Sandis Ozolinsh for Owen Nolan. I know that's a trade that rocked Glenn Suter's world.
Ozolinsh, he's a defenseman, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's from Australia. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that. Now they...
Sorry, Glenn. So they're still talking it over down there, trying to figure out who did what to who when.
And Ron Lancaster is saying, I just want my guys off the field so there's no chance in this last 11 seconds that anyone can get hurt. Because I know where I'm going to be in the playoffs. I want to have all my guns going.
I understand the Cleveland Indians have defeated the Atlanta Braves tonight. 5-4 the final, so the Bravos made a bit of a comeback.
Edmonton number 40. Major foul, rough play, ejection. Edmonton number 40.
Benny Goods gets double roughing penalties, and he gets to go home early.
Ron's mentioned to the officials that there's always 2 guys in a fist fight. How come you're just throwing my guy out? Well, you know, in the back of his mind, he's thinking, well, there's one guy that can't get hurt in the last 30 seconds.
Ron's hot about that call, too. And Benny Goods is heading for an early shower. Those 2 guys get them escorted to the dressing room, and they're going to get a speech on the way.
Well, it's amazing because those guys haven't even flinched.
Yeah.
Benny Goods is really theatrical in trying to explain his side of the story.
The penalty will move the ball back to the 15-yard line. Just 11 seconds to play in the fourth quarter, and the Memphis Mad Dogs are heading for defeat, and they will finish the season 9-9 and miss the playoffs, which is going to bring up some interesting problems because Saskatchewan or Winnipeg is going to make it at 7-11.
Well, that's 2 wins different, a little different than what it used to be in the East and West, where a team with 3 wins or even only 2 wins were making the playoffs.
Vargas will just step back and down the ball, and when he does it one more time, the Edmonton Eskimos regular season will be over.
And Tim Cofield is 3 short of the CFL record held by James Parker. That record stays intact.
I'm sure he's a lot more concerned, though, about the fact that his team will not be in the postseason. So Vargas will do it one more time, and that will do it. Time has expired, and the Edmonton Eskimos improve their record to 13-5, which is where they'll finish the season. Back-to-back 13-win seasons for the Eskimos. The Memphis Mad Dogs finish 9-9 and will miss the CFL playoff. Back with more on the CFL Live in just a moment. Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Sony. Fourth quarter, Eddie Brown takes the pass and then throws again. Jim Sandusky wide open for the 78-yard pass and run touchdown that put the Edmonton Eskimos out of reach and put the Memphis Mad Dogs out of the CFL playoffs. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of amateur athletes on behalf of TSN and Sony. The new Sony Handycam Vision, clearly the latest in video cameras. The Edmonton Eskimos with the win over the Memphis Mad Dogs. Edmonton finishes 13-5, Memphis 9-9. Let's go back to Darren Detition at our CFL Control Center.
Thanks very much, Gord. The Edmonton Eskimos are now thinking postseason as they will play host to the BC Lions in the first round of the playoffs. The game story tonight, well, Nick Mystrom, he had a tough one. He missed a couple of field goals that really hurt the team tonight. Meanwhile, 3 early turnovers, 2 fumbles in the first half. The Dogs were pretty much done. So Memphis is not going to the postseason in the South Division. We can tell you it will be Baltimore, it will be San Antonio, and it will now be the Birmingham Barracudas. Although Birmingham could still theoretically finish second in the South Division. That's if they beat San Antonio this past weekend. The winner of the Texans game and the Birmingham Barracudas will finish second. Make sure you stay tuned to the Sports Network because our next game is coming to you tomorrow. We will have it from the Sky Dome. The Calgary Stampeders, Wally Buono and company in town to take on the Argos. We anticipate seeing Doug Flutie as a quarterback in this game. Forget the holding business. He's feeling a lot better. Also at the half, the commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Larry Smith Live. We'll have an in-depth interview with him. Then it's our CFL fan phone poll. We've got a number of questions that we're going to pose to you, very integral to the league itself. We hope that you'll join us for that. Make sure you stay tuned to the Sports Network because coming up next, we've got TSN Sports Desk. The Edmonton Eskimos knock off the Memphis Mad Dogs 25-14. Brendan and Michael are standing by with baseball and NHL highlights. Guys,